close the doors of your mind from all carnal will, all carnal thought, all emotions, all desires, and fears. Allow your mind to be centered in your inward man, and allow your thoughts and your mind to be centered on and fixed on the one who made all things, Yahuwah. And has been Yahusha. His word is the bar, his wisdom is Kukma, his da'ath, his binah, his understanding and wisdom, and on every single thing that one has learned throughout their life that is righteous. Fix your mind on these things as the warnings and the exaltation and the things that Yahuwah has prescribed on this day, this yom, this rest, that it may resonate in your thoughts and your minds and bring your mind to vibration and frequency of the highest order. That the judgments and the mishpat and the pakud, the statutes and the sentence into your journey, into your life, may resonate in your mind, in your thoughts. We come as a people desiring to be free continually, desiring to be free continually, to lift up our hands to Yahuwah and say we live this year continually. But as we walk and live our lives in this world full of lies and despair, full of deception and demonic activity and demonic ways and demonic thoughts and evil, we stand as a light, an ore in the world. Not a ore just for ourselves, but for those who may see the light. And this yom, we give all praise and honor to the one who made all things, Yahuwah Elohim, who sits in the highest Chmy'shy, who governs all thrones, principalities, powers, in the 7 Chmy'sy, even down to the lowest earth. And all of the earths and the worlds and the universe that was formed by the very Debar may resonate inside, and that we may know the Amant, the truth, and the truth will make us free. Free from ourselves, free from our past, free from our trauma, free from our emotions, free from the things so we can see and understand when we walk outside, when we put our feet on the ground. We can feel again. We can feel the actual wind blow against our skin. We can feel the sun shining on us. We can pick up soil in our hand and feel it again. We can see that we are alive, not for the consumption of spirits and other spirits, but for the instruments of righteousness toward the one who made all things, Yahuwah. So we give all praise and honor to the one who made all things, the Andes, the mountains, the trees, the flowers, from Alaska to Greenland, from Morocco all the way to Tibet, the one who established the ends of the earth, the one who made the cosmos, the Milky Way, the galaxies, the star clusters, the binary stars, even from the highest planet all the way to the first Chmy'sy, from the one who sits in the highest Chmy'sy who governs all things, Yahuwah, who sits on his throne, and his Ben Yahusha, whom he sends out to accomplish everything that he commands it to do. And even as we say, we take in the Debar, that we may accomplish everything he sent it in us to do as servants abad in a world. So this yom, we submit ourselves, we submit our minds, and we submit our thoughts to Yahuwah continually. That his love may resonate inside of our mind, that we may overflow and pour out to all those who are in need. To all those who are in need. So as we move forward in love, we move forward in compassion, we move forward in mercy, we move forward in forgiveness, we move forward in harmony. We move forward in harmony. So this is 2nd Ezra, or Bith Azara 1654. It says, "Behold, or Ha, behold, revealed. Yahuwah knoweth all the works of men, or Adam, or human beings, their imaginations and their thoughts, and their heart, their mind are laid. Which spake, he said, which spake but the word, let the earth be made. So when you look at Yahuwah, he said he spoke and the earth was made. All he had to do was say he spoke that the bear, the bar, his Ben Yahusha, he spoke the word and the earth was made, because it accomplished everything he sent it to do. It says, and the earth was made, and it was made. Or higher. Right? Let the Chmy'shy be made, and it was created. That's what it said. Let the heavens be made, and it was created. It says, in his word were the stars made, all the Kukabim in the Yark, the constellations from Orion to the Pegasus, to the Her star system, to the Olmec star system, to the Alphic star system. He formed it all. He said, let the word, the bar, the bear, in the word the stars were made. And he knoweth the number of them. When you look at the stars in the Chmy'shy, if one is able to get to a higher point, you're able to see more stars than you did when you were at a lower point. So as one that ascends up, you will be able to see the creation of the world. And he did it by the word, the bear, Yahushua Mashiach. It says, he searches the deep and the treasures thereof. He hath measured the sea and what it containeth. So you see how people try to travel to the Mariner's Trench or to places that one has never been, even drilling holes in Alaska to trying to find lower rivers that are underneath the ice, to try to measure out the center of the earth, to try to find parts of the world that no one ever tries to go. Even as some people say, some say that even in the tops of the earth, entrances to the center of the earth. Right? We look at these places. He said he searches the deep. Verse 57, and treasures thereof, and have measured the sea and what it containeth. We look at the whales, all the things that you see in the earth. He measured it out. Yahuwah did. This verse 58 says, and he hath shut the sea in the midst of the waters, and with his word hath he hanged the arats upon the waters. Right. So when you start looking at he putting this earth upon the waters, you start looking at when he calls it the how you say the kub, the circle, to rise on the waters, right? To come up. Verse 59 says, he spreadeth out the heavens like a vault. He spread about the heavens. There are 7 Chmy'shy, like a vault, like spheres, like vaults, right? Upon the waters hath he founded. It says, in the desert hath he made springs of water, and pools upon the tops of mountains, that the floods might pour down upon the high rocks to water the earth. Right? You look at a person at a higher point, and then you look at water flowing down to water those who are on the lower parts. Right? It says he did it. Yahuwah did that. Verse 61, it says, he made man and put his heart in the midst of the body, and gave him breath, life, and understanding. Yahuwah did that. He formed all these things. He did these things. So verse 62 says, yea, the Ruach of the Almighty Elohim, which made all things, and searcheth out all hidden things in the secrets of the earth. Surely he knoweth your inventions. So if he can do all of that, Yahuwah did all of this. He created all things you see, from the Missouri Mountains, to the Andes, to K2 Mountains, to Tibet, the Himalayas, down the Appalachian. He formed all the seas and all the things that people gave names to, that they changed and gave names to. The Black Sea, the Caspian Sea, the Mediterranean Sea, right? The Arabian Sea, right? The Atlantic Ocean, Pacific, Yam, right? All these things that you see. If he can do all that, man, surely, verse 63 says, surely he knoweth your inventions, and what ye think in your mind, your love. So, walk outside. Can you make the sun come out of the 6th portal? Can you make the Chmy'shy, the sky, blue and pink and purple in some times of the day? Can you do that? Surely he know what you're thinking. Guess what else? It says, even them that sin and would hide their sin. He can even see your sin. You can't hide it from him. 64 says, therefore hath Yahuwah exactly searched out all your works, and he will put you to shame. So he done created all these things that you see that we can't do. Even in your whole lifetime, you won't be able to do it. You could plant a tree at the beginning of your life, and by the time it's over, it probably won't even be that big. Right? So when you start looking at him, he says, surely he know everything. Guess what it says? He said, therefore hath Yahuwah exactly searched out all your works, and he will put you all to shame. All. So when we start looking at the creation of the world, the beginning of the world, and how he made and formed it and shaped it by the bar of the word, here's the bear, here's the bar. You can clearly see how he knows everything that you're thinking. He knows if he can know what a spider is thinking, a whale is thinking, a groundhog is thinking, if he can know what a condor is thinking, if he can know what a seal or a sea lion is thinking, he can understand what you're thinking too. He knows what's going on in your thoughts. If you can know what you're thinking in your womb before you even born into the world, he knows what you're thinking. Right? So this is ODE Shaloma, ODE 8 and 1. It says, open your hearts to the exaltation of Yahuwah, and let your love abound from the hearts to your lips. So when we look at our lab, our mind, and our thoughts, we look at things that we say and the things that we come out of our language, our lashon, our lips, right? Right. Let the exaltation of Yahuwah, let your love, ahab, abound from your heart to your lips. So let your love and your ahab for him and your mind come out of your lips. Verse 2 says, in order to bring forth fruits to Yahuwah, a Chudash life. That's what we endeavor to do every single day, through the transformation, to the renewing of the word, to produce a Chudash life, a pure life, right? And to speak with watchfulness in his light, right? Walk while you have the light, lest darkness come upon you and overtake you, right? Watch unto prayer. Why? So you can have a Chudash life. And you have to speak. Why? Because he gave us lips, he gave us a mouth, and he says speak. Verse 3 says, stand and be established, you who were once brought low, those who were once humble, humility, humbled themselves down, whether it was through fasting or even tearing their mind down. He said, guess what? He said, stand and be established, you were once brought low. It says, verse 4 says, you who were in silence, speak, for your mouth has been opened. You've now been opened. Right? The whole point, people say, what's the whole point of coming down low? Humble yourself on the mighty hand of Yahuwah, and he will exalt you. Humble yourself on the mighty hand of Yahuwah, and he will exalt you to do what? Because when you're humble and you're in silence, he said, now he's telling you to speak. For your mouth has been opened. He says, you who were despised, from henceforth be raised. Right, you look at Yahushua being raised on the third day. He was despised and rejected of men. For your righteousness has been raised. So when we start looking at righteousness exalts a nation, a people. Verse 6 says, for the right hand of Yahuwah is with you, and he will be your helper. All right. And shalom was prepared for you, remember this peace, before what may be your war. Right? All these things were prepared before the foundation of the world. Everything for what is your war today. That you warring with the spirits and the demons and the beings that are around to try to distort, to try to pull you down. The beings you can't see, but through your inward man you can. And Yahuwah's right hand, and you speaking, you know you're in a war. And these things must be activated in order for you to fight the war. So wisdom of Shaloma, Chmy'shy, Shaloma 6, 12-25 says, wisdom, Chmy'shy, is glorious and never fadeth away. Yea, she is easily seen of them that love her, and found of such that seek her. So are we still seeking? Or you say, I made it already, or I got it. No, it's a continual seeking. You'll be learning till you die, until you go and travel to the next world. It says, it's love, right? You have to have love, and you have to seek. She prevented them that desire her, in making yourself first known unto them. It's not some easy get grab, right? It's something that you have to work for. Verse 14 says, whoso searcheth her early shall have no great travail, right? So in the morning time, what time are you getting up? What time are you rising, right? What are you searching for? What are you seeking for? Right, in the morning sacrifices. He says, for he shall find her sitting at his doors. Right? We talk about wisdom, Kukma, right? Sitting at the doors like Abraham, ready to serve. Like the 10 virgins. 5 virgins are waiting at the door for the bridegroom to open. Right? Ready to serve, like Rebecca, like Chmy'shy, like those we read about, even Yahushua himself. He said the greatest, even the one that is the one who serves the best. So verse 15 says, to think thereupon her is perfection of wisdom and Kukma, and whoso watches for her shall quickly be without care. Verse 16 says, for she goeth about seeking such as are worthy of her, showeth herself favorably unto them in the ways, and meeteth them in every thought. Remember, we just read that Yahuwah knows all the thoughts of men. Surely he knows your thoughts. So he said he's going to put you to shame. But if you have Kukma and wisdom in your thoughts and understanding, what happens? You won't be put to shame. You won't be put to shame. It'll meet you in every thought. And that's what we want. In every situation, every circumcision, every action and reaction, in our thoughts and our minds, whether it's natural or in the spirit world, when other beings try to deter your mind from having a Kadush life. Chmy'shy, Proverbs 8 through 11. It says, all the words of my mouth are righteous. His righteousness has been exalted. Open your mouth and speak. All the words of my mouth are righteous, and there is nothing twisted or crooked in them. They are all straight to him who understands, right? They are to those who understand, and right to those who find knowledge. Seek. Love. Take my instructions instead of silver, and knowledge rather than gold. Right? Because we know about silver and gold. Remember, all these things were made by Kukma. And we know that silver and gold, we know about the archons and all the beings that uses the things to control man from the beginning. For wisdom is better than jewels, and all that you may desire cannot compare with her. Right? So, as we always say, the word for crooked is akish or kesh, right? It means distorted, false, crooked, forward, or perverse. All of the words of Yahuwah's mouth are not distorted, it's not false, it's not forward or perverse. Nothing that he says, right? Word for straight is nakuwak. It says they are all straight. They are straightforward, equitable, correct, integrity, uprightness. They are innocence, right? Innocent until proven guilty to him who understands. They are straightforward, equitable. They will bring value to you, your life, in your mind, and your thoughts. They bring integrity, equitable, and innocence to you. And right to those who find knowledge. Take my instructions instead of silver and rather than gold. For wisdom is better than jewels, and all that you may desire cannot compare with her. So you look at the jewels, even the jewels that's on the priest's robe, right? That we wear, the 12 stones. Look at all these stones and things that people wear. And he said Kukma is better than that, than gold and silver and any jewels you can wear. Because it made it by the word of Yahuwah. We just read how he established it all by his word. He said, surely he know your thoughts. For Tahallym 1:11 and 10, it says, the fear of Yahuwah is the beginning of wisdom, Rashid. And all those who practice it have a good understanding. His praise endures forever. This is easy, right? It's straightforward, equitable, integrity, uprightness. Those who fear Yahuwah, he said, it's the beginning of wisdom. Rashid, it's the beginning. And if you practice Yirah or allness, right, Yareh, right, you have that fear, he said you have a good understanding of your father and your mother, whom house you live in. But there's only one house, Right? This is Wisdom of Solomon, Chmy'shy Shaloma 7:6-14. For all men have one entrance into life, and the light going out. Right? You came in a form out through a matrix out of a woman, out of the portal gate. You're gonna leave out of a portal. Notice you start thinking about our new births, right? It says, verse 7 says, wherefore I prayed, and understanding was given to me. And I called upon all Yahuwah, and the Ruach of Chokmah came to me, because he asked. Verse 8 says, I preferred her before scepters and thrones, and esteemed riches, nothing's in comparison to wisdom, Chokmah. Verse 9 says, neither compare I unto her any precious stone, because all gold in respect of her is as little sand, and silver shall be counted as clay before her. So when we start looking at all these things, silver, gold, jewels, it's all like clay. Verse 10 says, I loved her above health and beauty. Health and beauty. And I chose to have her instead of light, or wisdom, Chokmah, knowledge, the bar. For the light that cometh from her never goeth out. Why? Because when you look at the beginning, when he made the Chmy'shy and the Arats, the 7 Chmy'shy, you can see the light, the ore that shined there was not the light that was made on the 4th day. Because that light that shined and that made the Shema Kugrim in the yard, by the word, as we read in Ezra's, it never goeth out. Chmy'shy is my throne there. He said, my word, he said, Chmy'shy and earth will pass away, the bar will never pass away. It's a light, it never goes out. Verse 11 says, all good things together came to me with her, and innumerable riches in her hands. Right, when you got Chokmah and wisdom, it's in her hand. That wisdom and Chokmah, it's innumerable, it's infinite. It's infinite. Verse 12, and I rejoiced in them all, but wisdom goeth before them. And I knew not that she was the mother of them. Gave birth to all of that. So I learned diligently and do communicate her liberally. I do not hide her riches. I learned diligently and I do communicate her liberally. I do not hide her riches. For she is a treasure unto men and never faileth. It says, which they that use become the friends of all Yahuwah. Right, so when we're talking about being a friend of him, right? Guess what it says? Being commended for the gifts that come from learning. Right? The gifts that come from learning. So this Wisdom Chmy'shy Shaloma 3, as we always start, 3:9-13 says, they that put their trust in Yahuwah shall understand the truth. Yahuwah said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. But you don't put your trust in Yahuwah, he said, you'll understand it. And such as be faithful in love shall abide with him. For Khan and grace and mercy is to his Kadashim, and he hath care for his elect. He does. Just like a mountain surround Jerusalem, so Yahuwah surround his people. Verse 10 says, but the unrighteous shall be punished according to their own imaginations. Right? We start looking at our own mind, our own understanding, our own imaginations, and our own thoughts. Outside of our father and mother, Yahuwah, then you start looking at being punished by not obeying your parents' children. It says, which have neglected the righteous, or righteousness that has been exalted, and forsaken their father and mother, Yahuwah. For whoso despises wisdom and nurture, man, woman, child, he, she, child is miserable, and their hope is vain, and their labors unfruitful, and their works unprofitable. So when we look at this verse, we look at the man head, but you start looking at anybody. It says, guess what it says? Their works unprofitable, unfruitful, vain. Even though people can accomplish all these things in the world, it doesn't matter. When they forsake wisdom and nurture, you can still prosper and do that. But it'll still be unprofitable works, unfruitful and vain. Verse 12 says, their wives are foolish and their children wicked. Look at generational curses. You're looking at generational things that take place. These things take place because of wisdom and nurture, despising it. you despise it. Right? It says, verse 12 says, their wives are foolish and their children wicked, and their offspring is cursed. Right? Because these behaviors are passed on from one generation to the next generation, to the next generation, to the next generation, to the next generation. Your whole line will be cursed. Right? So they that put their trust in Yahuwah should understand the truth. Right? Sirach chapter 1, 11 through 21 says, the fear of Yahuwah is honor, and kabod and gladness, and a crown of rejoicing. The fear of Yahuwah maketh a merry heart, and giveth joy and gladness and a long life. Remember, the fear of Yahuwah is a Rashid, the beginning. Whoso feareth Yahuwah, it shall go well with him at the last, and he shall find favor in the day of his death. The fear of Yahuwah is the beginning of wisdom, and it was created with the faithful in the womb. Right, we start looking at how many of us are like a child. He said, trust in Yahuwah, lean not to your own understanding, in all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your path. It will be healing to your shore, your umbilical cord. They that trust in Yahuwah shall understand the truth. You be faithful in the womb. Humble yourself like a child. You will never enter the Malkuth. Verse 15 says, she hath built an everlasting foundation with men, and she shall continue with their seed. To fear Yahuwah is fullness of wisdom, Chukma, and filleth men with her fruits. It says, she filleth all their house with things desirable, and garners with her increase. The fear of Yahuwah is the crown of wisdom, maketh shalom and perfect health to flourish. How you gonna have a long life? You gotta have perfect health. You gotta have perfect health. Both which are gifts of Yahuwah. How do you get these gifts? From learning. Perfect health. The word is not just teaching spiritual things, it's teaching you natural things as well. It's teaching oneself how to take care of their body, take care of the mind, their thoughts, the mind, body, soul, how to meditate, how to detach, how to become in a shalom type mindset, how to take care of what to put in their body, what foods to put in, what words to put in, what thoughts to entertain and muse upon, or haggah. It teaches a lot of things. You get it through learning, right? And it's an everyday renewing of the mind. It says, with gifts of Yahuwah, and enlarges their rejoicing that love him, and it makes you rejoice even more. You start looking at the people that were healed by Yahushua or Peter or Kaf. They were leaping in the air and jumping and rejoicing because they loved him. Because they loved him. Verse 19 says, wisdom and Chukma raineth down skill and knowledge and understanding, and exalted them to honor that hold her fast. So when we start looking at these things, right? It says, verse 20, it says, the root of wisdom is to fear Yahuwah, and the branches thereof are long life. He said, I am the vine, you are the branches. You can do nothing without me. The root of Chukma is the fear of Yahuwah, and the branches thereof are long life. The fear of Yahuwah driveth away sins. You mean we read in the second Ezra, he said, Yahuwah know all your thoughts. Surely he know your thoughts. And those who hide sin. But guess what he says? The fear of Yahuwah driveth away sins. And where it is present, it turneth away wrath. His wrath. Right? So when we start looking at the fear of Yahuwah, we start looking at wisdom, Chukma, knowledge, understanding. We start looking at our generational curses. We start looking at how he made it as the Chmy'shy in the earth. And we start looking at, he knows all the thoughts of man. Surely he knows your thoughts if he created all the things you see. The cosmos and the galaxies and all the things that man desired to travel to. He formed all these things. From the Pegasus galaxy all the way to Sirius A and Sirius B. He made these things. But he said, you know what? If he can do all that, surely he knows your thoughts. He could look in the other world in the universe in your mind. He could see everything you have. So this is the Aramaic Palestinian Targums, Bereshit. And Yahuwah saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth. How? Because he made everything. Surely he knows your thoughts. Surely he knows what's going on in your mind and your sins you hide. He says, saw the wickedness of man was great in all the earth, and all imagery and thought of his heart was only evil every day. They were raw. And it repented Yahuwah in his word, because he made everything by his word, the bar, his wisdom and Kukma, Da'ath, the Da'ath that he spoke, through Binah and Kukma, that he had made man upon the earth and passed judgment upon them by his Dabar, his word, not by his own, by his word, by Yahushua Mashiach. It says, and there was repentance before Yahuwah in his word that he had made man upon the earth, and he said and judged in his mind. People say he talking to himself in his mind. Yeah, he judged in his thoughts. And that's, remember we talked about, that's the same ability that one has. It says, Yahuwah saw, I will abolish by my word Adam, or human beings whom I have created, upon the face of the earth, from man to cattle to reptiles to fowls of the Chmy'shy, because I have repented in my word that I have made them. And Nuach found favor before Yahuwah. So when we start looking at repenting by the word, by the bar, they that trust in Yahuwah understand this. Right? Verse Bereshit 6 and 5 says, Yahuwah saw that the wickedness of same thing, but with ESV, it says, Yahuwah saw that the wickedness of Adam, or human beings, were great in the earth, and that every intention of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. And Yahuwah regretted that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him to his heart. So Yahuwah said, I will blot out man whom I have created on the face of the land, man, animals, creeping things, birds, Chmy'shy, for I am sorry that I have made them. But Nuach found favor in the eyes of Yahuwah. Surely he know your thoughts. He made all the animals. He know what the animals, what's wrong with them. He know the things that man has corrupted. Cross-humanization, genetic manipulation, doing things and defiling his creation. He know these things. He know what animals. He know the animals that he created. He know the human beings and their thoughts. He know that they're corrupt. I'm going to mix human DNA and animal DNA. You think he ain't going to know that? I'm going to put baby fetuses in Dasani water. You think he don't know that? I'm gonna put some human feces in some water and make you drink it. They're gonna put it in there. You think he don't know that? Every imagination and thought, intent is even continuing. I'm gonna put manganese inside a thing and make people aggressive and manipulate the pituitary pineal gland in the thought process of a mind. You think he don't know that? He can see all these things. Surely he know the thoughts, even the people that you don't know. Like they say, they did that. Who is they? Yahuwah knows who they are. You don't know who they are. You just say they because you don't know who it is. You just create who they are in your own mind, but Yahuwah knows exactly who they are. Right? Why don't you ask the source and he'll give you the answer. Right? So this is word for every imagination of man's heart is laid. Every imagination in his mind, heart, understanding, his understanding. They don't trust in Yahuwah. They don't understand the truth. They don't understand the truth. They don't understand the truth. Right? It says in inner parts, the midst of things, heart of man, soul, heart of man, mind, knowledge, thinking, reflection, memory, inclination, resolution, determination, will, conscience, heart, moral character, seat of appetites, seat of emotions and passions, seat of courage. It says the heart, figuratively, widely speaking, right? So all these things are evil in the sight of Yahuwah. All these things are evil. Where every imagination and thought is evil continually. So when we start looking at these things, we start looking at the intentions of man's heart in the seat of courage, right? We start looking at these things and these things being evil continually, knowing that these things take place, right? It's just like any other thing that we do, right? We start looking at these aspects. Yahuwah knows every intention of man's heart. Every intention and thought of his mind was only evil continually. And we start looking at these things. He's given it this understanding in our mind and our thoughts that we should know what to do and how we should conduct ourselves in a world full of, our own thoughts. Right? He knows all these things. And Satan knows it too. That's why he tries to disrupt. Right? All these things take place. Right? So the word for thought, and every thought was evil, was makashaba. Every thought, device, plan, purpose, invention. Right? Every thought, every imagination is thought, makashaba, and thought, device, and plan, purpose, and invention is evil continually. Right? So when we start looking at these aspects, right, he said every imagination and thought is evil continually. Right? Every single thought, device, plan, plot, cunning, work, device, imagination, invented, purpose. Every purpose is evil. Every purpose is evil. Every thought, makashaba, is evil. For all these things are a part of it, right? And these things take place. We may not see it as that, but these things take place in your mind, right? So the word for evil is ra. Every imagination thought was evil. It was ra. It was disagreeable, malignant, unpleasant, evil, pain, unhappiness, misery, displeasing. It was comparison, unhappy, unkind, bad, evil, wicked. In general, a person's of thoughts, deeds, actions, distress, misery, injury, evil, distress, adversary, evil, misery, distress, everything. Every single imagination and thought is evil continually. It was, unpleasant. It was evil. It was worse than, unhappy, right? We think about being misery. They that forsake you are what? Miserable. They despise wisdom and nurture. So these are the aspects of this present world today, 2022 AD. This is the world we see today. This is the world we see today. This is Tehillim Psalms 119:78. It says, guess what it says? And let the Zah, or the arrogant, or the proud, be put to shame. Like we just read, Yahuwah said, I'm going to search all your thoughts. He said, surely he know all your thoughts. And he said, he going to put you to shame. He searched out everything. He know all your sin. He going to put you to shame. He said, let the proud, the arrogant be put to shame, because they have wronged me with falsehood, or lies, or shakir. As for me, I will meditate on your pakud, or your precepts. Let those who fear you turn to me, that they may know your testimonies. Right, so when we start looking at these aspects, we look at the word for proud, or zab, right? It means, or zadeh, right? It means what? Arrogant, proud, insolent. It says presumptuous, proud, arrogant men. Right, so when we start looking at arrogance, he's talking about putting those arrogant men, those arrogant thoughts, the proud thoughts. He said, put you to shame, because I can see straight. He said, I can see straight through you, because they have wronged me through falsehood and lies. He said, but as for me, I will meditate on your kaput, your precepts. Let those who fear you turn to me, that they may know your testimonies. Right. So the word for shame is bush. Bush. Right. You look at people say bush. Right. It says put to shame. Bush means to put to shame, be disappointed, to be ashamed, to feel shame, to be shamed, to pale. You mean like a pale horse? Like we talked about before? Death. Be put to death, or put to shame. Bush. To be ashamed, to shame. Act shamefully, to bring shame, disappointed. So we start looking at, let them be put to shame, let them be put to bush. Let them be put to shame. Right? Why? Because they are arrogant and proud. He said, you know what? Let's put them to shame. Pale. Right? Bush. Now we're talking about bush outside, but you can see a bush. Right? Usually people see a bush, they hide behind a bush. Right? So the word for meditate is siyak. He said, I'm going to meditate, right, on your precepts, right? That word for meditate is siach, or you can see shiach, right? You can see half of, you can put mem on the top, you have mashiach, but he says siach, right? So the word for meditate, it says to meditate, to muse, to commune, to sing, to converse with oneself. You're talking about talking to themselves in their own mind, just like how Yahuwah did in the beginning. Right? Start looking at these lies that's been told in the world by these arrogant people, these arrogant malachi, these arrogant messengers, these arrogant teachers, right? When you start thinking, I'm going to put you all to shame, I'm going to put you in a bush. Or these nabiyahs and all these other people, right? But he said what? To sing. To converse with oneself, hence to pray, to speak, to talk with, meditate, to commune. Right? So when we start looking at these aspects of siach, we start looking at him. He said, I'm going to meditate on your pakud, on your statutes. Right? These are all aspects of the transformation that has to take place. Right? So the word for fear is yareh, or yareh, or yareh, right? It means to fear, reverent, afraid, fearing. Fear, morally reverent, afraid, right? Fear, right? It also means, reverent means to, go down, it says reverent means feeling or showing deep or solemn respect. Right, so you start thinking about fearing. Right, you start thinking about fearing as it talks about. So the word for statutes is pakud. Right, you talk about fearing Yahuwah and fearing His name, for it is the beginning of wisdom, Yadeh. Right, well, we think about fearing, but keep that in mind, because when we start thinking about Yadeh and fearing, and we start thinking about how you say siach, right? Meditating. But when we start looking at these aspects, he said meditating on what? On your statutes. I'm going to meditate on these. I'm going to meditate on your mandates, your commandment, your precepts, your statutes, a precept. Because all of them taught me lies on what the commands were. We look at the commands, you go all the way back to the beginning, to the Gan. Right? He gave commandment in the garden, in the Gan, to Adam, to all the children of Adam. He said, I give you authority to fish, sea, fowl, every creeping thing over all the earth. He said, every herb yielding seed is for food. He said, for every tree of the garden you may freely eat, but for the tree of the knowledge of good, Ta'u Marah, you shall not eat of it. For the day you eat of it, you shall surely move. He said, I'm going to meditate on your kaku, your commands, your precepts. Think about that. Think about if Adam did that. Think about it, people in Bereshit did that. Every imagination and thought won't be evil continually. If they meditated on Yahuwah and what he says. So the word for testimonies is Ada, or Ida. Ada. Like, we're not talking about an AI technology from the show Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Right, we're talking about Ada. Ada means, it's the word for testimony. So I'm meditating on your statutes, your testimonies, right? It says, what? Testimony, witness, testimony. It says the laws, divine testimonies, right? So we're talking about divine testimonies, right? You look at that word for divine testimony. It says, so it says, but this form of testimony falls under the first category of definition. This is a solemn declaration by the disciples as authentication of those things they know to be fact. It is fact that Yahuwah made the Chmy'shy and the earth. It's fact that he formed the sea and everything that we see. It's fact that he formed the Kukabim, the Yark, and the Shemesh. It's fact that he gave Adam and Ka'ur the things they're supposed to do when they were one. It was fact that he did these things. It is fact that he created the earth, the Chmy'im and the 7 Chmy'im and all things by the word and the bar. It is fact. I'm going to meditate on your statutes, your pakud, and your testimonies. I'm going to do that. Because people with lies and falsehood and arrogant men, he said, I'm going to put you to shame. That's what Yahuwah say. I'm going to put you all to shame. Because I searched out all your, surely he know your thoughts, as we read in Ezra. He said, I know all your thoughts. I know what you do. He said, I'm going to put you all to shame. Right? So look at that word Ada as his testimonies, right? So the testament of Dan or Dan, if you look at the word H1 8:35 for Dan or Don, 12 Patriarchs, chapter 1. It says, besides all these is an eighth spirit, Ruach, the spirit of sleep, with which is brought about the trance of nature and the death. With the spirits are mingled the spirits of error. You got sleep and error, right? The first is the spirit of fornication. It is seated in the nature and in the senses. Right? You think about fornication, adultery, incest, any type of intercourse outside of marriage. Right? This is a spirit. This is a demon. Right? That one is being suggested to do things by demons and spirits. It's not the spirit of Ruach of Yahuwah. Right? This is the Ruach of demons. Right? These are spirits that fly around. That's why Shaul said to avoid the spirit of fornication. Because it's out here. But these demons, these spirits. Verse 25, the second is in the Ruach, the spirit, or the Ruach, or the spirit of insatiableness in the belly. Right? You're talking about giving birth to lies. You're talking about seed being planted and giving birth to lies. You talk about spirits hiding in the stomach. People say, my stomach always hurting. You might want to check the demons and spirits. Right? It says, guess what? Insatiableness, impossible to satiate or satisfy. An insatiable appetite or insatiable hunger. So when you start thinking about getting impregnated with the spirit of fornication, and then the spirit of insatiableness in the belly, it's a hunger for it. It becomes a hunger and a desire for it continually. Right? These are all appetites. Right? And they must be satisfied. If you don't satisfy them, just understand. Just understand. But these are all aspects. Insatiable in the belly, you never have enough. Verse 26, the third is a ruach of fighting in the liver and the gall. So you start thinking about strife and fighting. All these spirits work together. Sleep, error, fornication, insatiableness. Never have enough, gluttony, basically, in the belly. Right? And then you have what? The ruach of fighting. It's in the liver and the gall. Right? It'll be hiding inside of your body. You know, where your living sacrifices, you got the liver, the gallbladder, all these things that you would take out of the sacrifices, and you will offer them up. But Yahuwah said, present your body a living sacrifice. But if you have strife and fighting in your liver, in your gall, how are you presenting your body as a living sacrifice? Insatiableness in the belly, fornicating, spirit of error and sleep. Verse 27 says, the fourth ruach spirit, so you got about 4 spirits, is obsequiousness and chicanery, that through officious attention one may be fair in seeming, right? So these are aspects of oneself. He said, you look like you got it all together. Obsequiousness, obedient or attentive to excessive servile degree. Chicanery, to use trickery to achieve political, financial, or legal purpose. Like you see all this in the world right now. Man, you look like you got everything together, man. You look like you have it all, man. You have it all figured out. You're an expert in political, financial, and legal purposes. Right? These are all the spirits of error and sleep. They're going to put you to sleep. They talk about the lion killer. They speak about it. Where they put you in a chokehold and choke you out and put you to sleep. Man, this thing will put you to sleep. Verse 28 says, the fifth is the ruach of pride, spirit of pride, proud, arrogant, that one may be boastful and arrogant. Didn't we just read about arrogant people? He said, I'm going to put you all to shame. All you arrogant men or proud men who speak lies. That's the spirit of pride or proud. Verse 29, the sixth is this ruach of lying. So then you get to the point where you start lying. I know you got to get all 5 of these spirits before you start lying at the 6th spirit. Now you got 6 spirits on you. It says, and perdition and jealousy to practice deceits and concealments from kindred and friends. So now it becomes practicing deceit. Now you got concealment. Why? Because now you're lying. He said you hiding it. And you know, if you got lying, right? Like Yahushua say, he speak a lie, he speak of his own. He been lying from the beginning. He the father of lies. He sowed the seed in your mind. It says, in perdition and jealousy to practice deceits and concealment from kindred and friends. Maybe there was no deceit in Yahushua's mouth. He said he did no sin. He was deceitful in his mouth. Verse 30 says, the seventh is the ruach of injustice. Injustice is what you see in the world, proper judgment on things that people do wrong. Or you do wrong. You judge yourself, like Yahuwah said. I agree to my mind that I even made, man. And he judged within himself. He judged himself. He judged that injustice. He's like, that's injustice. I got to destroy that. It says, the seventh is the spirit of injustice, which are thefts and acts of rapacity, that a man may fulfill the desires of his heart. Improper judgment to get money. Improper judgment on things in oneself and one's mind just to get gain. And that's what you see today. For injustice working together with other spirits by taking of gifts. So rapacity is aggressive greed. Aggressive greed. I mean, I'm aggressively being greedy. Instead of giving judgment, I'm going to take that money and I ain't going to judge you properly. I ain't going to give you the proper judgment for your life. I'm going to take that gift, that money. Right? All these spirits, these 8 spirits. But nobody wants to talk about it, right? You start thinking about all these spirits and demons. Air, fornication, attachments in the belly, fighting, chicanery, obsequiousness, pride, boastful, arrogant, all these work together. Lying, practicing deceit, injustice, all these things work together. How you say they're in confederacy or conspiracy together. And if you have these things on the inside, then you should know you're at the point, how you say, going to sleep. Like you should say, watch under prayer that you don't fall into temptation. Pray that you don't enter into not temptation. I say, what I say unto one, I say unto all, stay awake. But if you go to sleep, then error, then fornication, inside in the belly, fighting, increasing in chicanery, boastful, proud, arrogant, lying, then you get injustice and rapacity. Then you're trying to just get money. But they all work together. It says in verse 31, says, and with all these, the spirit of sleep is joined, which is of that error and fantasy. So the whole thing, it will bring you to an unconscious state. You know, people say unconscious. These things will bring you to an unconscious state. So 32 says, and so perisheth every young man, darkening his mind from the truth. They that trust in Yahuwah understand the truth, but because Yahuwah is light, and in him is no darkness at all. But if it darkens your mind, then guess what happens? Then you don't understand the truth anymore, and not understanding of the Torah of Yahuwah. Then you don't understand the Torah anymore, nor obeying the admonition of his fathers. You hate your elders and your mother and your father, and this is as befell me also in my youth. You hate your father, and you don't love the commandment, then your children wicked and your offspring cursed. And Rahuban said, as I did in my youth. So Yeshayah 29:9 says, astonish yourselves and be astonished. Bind yourselves and be blind. Be drunk, but not with wine. Stagger, but not with drink. So we drinking wine and all these things. He said, man, you ain't drunk with that. For Yahuwah has poured upon you the Ruach, the spirit of deep sleep, and have closed your eyes. The Nabi'im and the prophets have covered your heads, and the seers. Why would the prophets and the Nabi'im and everybody be under deep sleep? Because they're doing all those things. Just like they're currently doing today, 2022 AD. And the vision of all has become like the words of a book that is sealed. When men give to one who can read, saying, read this, he says, I cannot, for it is sealed. And when they give the book to one who cannot read, saying, read this, he says, I cannot read. And Yahuwah said, because this people draw near with their mouth and honor me with their lips, just like we read in the beginning. Let it go from your heart, overflowing your heart to your lips. While their hearts, their mind, their lay are far from me, every imagination and thought is evil continually. And their fear of me is a commandment taught by men, arrogant men. Very arrogant. I'm going to bring them all to shame, though. He said, therefore, behold, I will again do wonderful things with this people, with wonder upon wonder. And the wisdom, the chukmah of their wise men shall perish, and the discernment of their discerning men shall be hidden. So he ain't going to let you see. Ah, you who hide deep from Yahuwah, your counsel, whose deeds are in the dark, darkening his mind. And who say, who sees us and who knows us? Surely Yahuwah knows all your thoughts, as you read in Ezra. He searched out all your sins. He said, I'm going to put you all to shame. He says, you turn things upside down. Shall the potter be regarded as the clay? So now you want to make me into whatever you want to make me in. It says, as a thing made should say to its maker, he did not make me, or the thing formed say to him who formed it, he have no understanding. So now you're going to switch him around and say, I don't have no understanding? I formed you, but now you're trying to make me the clay and you're the potter. He was like, you don't make me into what you want. I make you into what I want. So the Testament of God, or Gad, H1410, chapter 1, 12 Patriarchs, verse 23. For as love will quicken the dead, and would call back them that are condemned to die, so hatred would slay the living, and those that have sinned vehemently, it will not suffer to live. For the ruach of hatred works together with Satan. So we start looking at all this hatred, all this arrogance and pride and spirit of sleep and all these demons. He said, man, you work together with Satan through hastiness of spirits in all things to men's death. But the ruach of love works together with the Torah of Yahuwah and long suffering unto the salvation of men, the children of Adam. Right? Even as Yahuwah long suffering, you are to be. Verse 25, hatred therefore is evil, for it constantly mateth with lying. They just continually to have intercourse. Right? Remember, that was a sixth spirit. So you see the stage you even get to that sixth spirit. They all work together, speaking against the truth. They that trust in Yahuwah will understand the truth, but they speak against it. And they make it small things to be great. Keep that in mind. And cause the light to be darkness. And cause the sweet bitter. Keep that in mind. And teaches slander. And kindleth wrath. And stirreth up war. But it was peace before your war, right? And violence and all covetousness. It filleth the heart with evils and devilish poison. Poison in the mind. Say, these things therefore I say to you from experience, my children, that ye may drive forth hatred, which is of Satan, hatred for the truth, and cleave to the love of Yahuwah. Cleave to the love of Yahuwah. Verse 27, righteousness casteth out hatred. Righteousness exalted. He said, those who were once brought low, speak. Righteousness casteth out hatred. Humility destroys envy. You won't be envious of your brother and your sister or anyone if you have humility on the inside. And you humble yourself. For he that is just and humble is ashamed to do what is unjust. Why? Because they understand. Being reproved not of another, but of his own mind. Because Yahuwah looketh on his inclination. Just like Yahuwah is ashamed to even look at man and the evil inclination and every imagination and thought, you should be to your own self. And look in your inclination, and you can see that on the inside, I have things that are still there that I need to remove. Today is the day of salvation. To be free. Freedom. Today. So this is Luke 8:17. For nothing is hidden that will not be made manifest, nor anything the secret that will not be known and come to light. Surely he know all your thoughts and all your sin you hide. He can make everything. He made the Chmy'shy, the 7 Chmy'sy. And each Chmy'sy, the measurement from the surface of the earth to the first Chmy'sy is the same measurement from the first Chmy'sy to the second Chmy'sy. Can you do that? Secrets. He said everything will come to light. He said Ukanon 3:20 says, for everyone who does wicked things hates the light. It speaks against the truth. It speaks against the truth. It speaks against the truth. You don't hate anything. I got hatred, lying, obscenity, fornication. I got one got insatiableness in the belly, chicanery, and political, financial gain, right? Injustice, right? All these things, spirit of error and sleep, you're going to speak against the truth because you ain't going to understand it. You're going to have to speak against it because these things are darkening your mind and understanding what's taking place. And it says, and does not come to light, lest the work should be exposed. Exposed by what? Or. Chmy'shy Proverbs 10:18. The one who conceals hatred has lying lips. Are you talking about concealing it? Why? Because you conceal lying, you have hatred, and you work together with Satan. The word for conceal is Kazab, to cover, to conceal, to cover, clothe oneself. Do you want to clothe yourself and appear before Yahuwah with this? I'm a Kazab. I'm going to cover myself. I'm going to conceal it. I'm going to cover myself with hatred or sanah. Kazab sanah. Hating, hatred, hate of man, hate, exceedingly hatred. We be arrogant and proud. Yahuwah goes, I'm going to put you to shame. I'm going to search out every single thing in your mind. I'm going to put you all to shame. All you arrogant men, arrogant people, arrogant men, women. He said, I'm going to put you all to shame. He says, hate it. He said, Kazab sanah. So you're going to cover yourself in hatred, which you're going to be working together with Satan, and you're going to come, and Yahuwah going to see you, and then you're going to be like, oh, it ain't me. You're going to be like Sarah. I didn't laugh. Yes, you did laugh on the inside. You're trying to conceal it. He was saying, nah, you can't conceal nothing from him. You'd be like, oh, the woman that thou gave me. Nah, you can't conceal your darkened mind. And you're not meditating on the precepts and the pakud and the sanat and shiach. So the word for lying lips is shakar. He said, he that have hatred, Kazab sanah, you have shakar, lying lips. Lie, disappointment, falsehood. When you have hatred for the truth, hatred for Yahushua Mashiach, hatred for pureness and love and compassion, oh man, disappointed. He said, you deceit, fraud. He said, falsified, self-deceived prophets, self-deceived nabi'im, a lie. Keep this in mind. Untruth, a sham, a liar, lying. He said, you concealing it. He said, you are a liar. You can Kazab sanah shakir. Right? In your thoughts. So, Chmy'shy Proverbs 17:4, it says, an evildoer listens to wicked lips, and a liar, shakir, gives ear to mischievous tongue. So if you have all these things, just understand who you work with. And that mischievous tongue, that lying lips that you listening to, is Satan himself. And anything he tell you, you'll believe. Why? Because you have it on the inside. You have infidelity. So he'll use that infidelity against you. And you won't even know it. And he'll blind your mind. You'll be darkened. And you'll believe in his word. But his word is deceit. He's very skillful at this. So the word for evildoer is ra. An evildoer, a ra, bad, evil. A person that has every imagination and thought is evil continually will do these things. In this world, 2022 AD. Amongst a world full of so many things, so many songs, music that's evil, so many different inventions that are evil, so many different people and thoughts and the behaviors that are evil. He said, man, you will do these things. You will listen bad, evil, to be sad, right? To be wicked, to be broken, to be in pieces. A person who's broken and contrite, who done did wrong, man, Satan coming. He like, yeah, I see you. Because he wants you to stay down. He said, man, fall 7 times, the righteous get back up. He wants you to stay there. He be like, yeah, I see you, broken asunder. You know, they don't love you. They don't care about you. They put you in this shame. They put you in this state of sorrow. You my friend. I wouldn't, if I, like he told Cain, I wouldn't tell you if I didn't love you. He become your best friend. I love you. Yahusha never went around telling people I love you. He just showed in his actions. Not I love you, I love you. He just did it. Yahusha's love was an action. He wept. He said, oh, how he loved him. His actions showed. Satan loves in word. He don't do no deeds. Right? To be bad, to be evil, to be wicked, to be broken pieces, to be broken asunder. Make or good for nothing, wicked doer. Right? Just like Satan told the woman at Eve's house, he said, you wicked servant. Like he know. He said, you raw, bad, evil. He said, a wicked evildoer will listen to wicked lips, a mischievous tongue. So that's the evildoer. Word for listen is Chmy'shy. You will be attentive. You be attentive. You pay attention. You will pay attention to this person. You will pay attention to his wicked lips, right? You will prick up the ears, that is hearken, attend. You will prick up the ear, pay attention. You'll give heed to it. Ooh, but you hear what he just spoke? Receive it with joy, like Cain. He said, man, I'll give you some money and I'm going to be with you on your journey and everything that you do. He's like, where is this at? Feeding into that, hearkening into it. Right? You'll be attentive, pay attention. Right? All these are a part of these things. But we're going to keep moving forward. So the word for wicked is avin. They have avin, right? When you start looking at taking up the vowel points, it could sound totally different. Aun, right? It could sound the way one wants to sound, but they use avin. We're going to use that because it's going to be very important as we move forward. Guess what it says? To pant, you listen to wicked lips, or avin, you'll listen to trouble, wickedness, sorrow, idolatry. You start worshiping idols, trouble, iniquity, wickedness. You start worshiping idols and vanity. How you say your work's unprofitable and unfruitful because you don't trust in Yahuwah no more? You trust in evil words and mischievous tongue. Right? He said, an evildoer will listen to wicked lips. And the liar will give ear to a mischievous tongue. Word for lips is safa, right? It means lips, language, speech. It means a band. It means also a language. Right? So when we start looking at, you'll be giving ear to a language that's not Yahuwah's language or a pure language. If it's a lie, it's not Yahuwah's language. If it's the truth, that's Yahuwah's language. His pure language, how you say? Amat, truth. You can speak truth in any language, and it's the truth. Whether you like it or not. Whether you hate it or you don't. So the word for mischievous is hava, right? Take out the vowel point, it'll be ha'ua, but you start looking at this, hava, right? It means what? Desire, engulfing ruin. You'll listen to a lying tongue, listen to engulfing ruin. Desire, also ruin, falling. You ever heard people speak of the worst? They always talk about the worst that can happen for you in your life. They don't even talk about life in general. They talk about the worst that can happen, right? Just understand that they've listened to a mischievous tongue. Yahusha said, I come that you might have life, Tashy'y, and have it more abundantly, right? Understand that these are spirits and demons, right? This is Satan himself whispering in your ear, right? Illumination, how you say, illuminated in our thoughts. So the word for language is in Proverbs 17:4, it's lashon, or tongue. You listen to a lying tongue, or mischievous tongue, right? Tongue, wedge, organ of speech, language, tongue of animals, tongues of fire, wedge, a talker, a babbler, evil speaker, language, tongue. All these aspects, you start listening to an evil, mischievous tongue. An evildoer will listen, and it will listen to a mischievous tongue. A lying tongue will listen. A shakir will listen to a mischievous tongue and language. So the Chmy'shy, Proverbs 19:22, what is desired in man is steadfast ahab and love. Why? Because it works together with Yahuwah. And a poor man is better than a liar. If you accumulate, you see anybody sitting on the side of the road under a bridge, and you tell a lie for any type of reason, right? Most of the time it's either going to get money or fornication in the world that you see today. He said, man, that poor man is better than you. So the word for a liar is Kazab. So you got Shakir and Kazab. You think about darkness. When you look at Shakir, you look at that word, it's spelled with a shin, and it's spelled with a kuf and a rosh. Same thing with Shakar or Shakor, all these things. But when you start looking at Kazab, it means a lie, untruth, falsehood, deceptive thing. A poor man will be better than a lie, untruth, a falsehood, a deceptive thing. If you tell a lie, a poor man is better than you. Because he wants steadfast love for the poor. Aha. So Chmy'shy, Proverbs 26:28, a lying tongue hates its victims, because you work together with Satan. And flattering mouth worketh ruin. It works ruin or destruction. Right? It'll destroy not only you, your family, it'll destroy your relationships, it'll destroy everything. It'll destroy people, it'll destroy people's future, it'll destroy everything. And you will hate, he said he hates his victims. Why? Because that person has become a victim to your tongue. And now they become a victim, and now they're taking that lie, that one said, and now they're going back, now they're in the spirit of fighting. And now they got more demons coming. And then that spirit of fighting takes over, and then you got what? Arrogance, proud, boasting, right? You got haughty, now you got that spirit coming in. Then the other person get lying spirit. Right? It just spreads like a disease. So Chmy'shy, Proverbs 30:6. So do not add to his words lest he rebuke you and you be found a liar or Kazab. I mean, he put you to shame, arrogant. He put your arrogance to shame. Surely he know all your thoughts. He said, why you keep talking about lying and Kazab? Surely he know all your thoughts. Surely he know everything that's going on in your mind. He made the Chmy'sy in the earth. He formed every grain of sand on the planet. Two things I ask of you: deny them me not before I die. Right? Before you leave here and travel to the next world through the portal, remove far from me falsehood or shakir and kazab. Give me neither poverty nor riches. Feed me with food that is needful for me. Now you say Yahweh, they say Yahweh, fear Yahuwah. I fear Yahuwah. He said, remove far from me lying and falsehood, lest I be full and deny you. And say, who is Yahuwah? Like Pharaoh, he was full. He denied him. Like Nebuchadnezzar, full. Pharaoh said, I made the nah. He said, who is Yahuwah? I should obey him. Just like Athaliah, right? Just like Kuul. Or you have your mind darkened like Adam. He said, who is Yahuwah? Or lest I be poor and steal. You're not Yahuwah's seed anymore. You be begging. He said, I be poor and not steal. And profane the name of my Elohim Yahuwah. Why? You start stealing just like any father and mother. You have a child, your child go out here and start stealing and robbing, become a thief. Who get the strikes? The parents. You see what your kids doing? They're gonna say, children, what are you doing, child? You out here stealing in the store, and be like, you see what his kid's doing? You such and such child. You such and such kid. You such and such yallet. I know your parents. Where your parents at? You rather me call the parents or the officers? You be like David. I'd rather fall into the hands of Yahuwah. Because my enemies are cruel. I don't need no officers. For real. Right, but that's how it is. So when you start looking at doing things opposite of what Yahuwah says, his father and mother. He says, I'll be whore and steal and profane and envy Yahuwah. Sirach 20:24 through 27. He says, a lie is a foul blot in man. Ish. Yet it's continually in the mouth of the untaught. So you're talking about a lie. If one is still, he say, I'm a liar. Why? Because Satan's in your tongue. Well, you mean he's filled your mind, like Yahuwah says, come from your mind, your heart, and your mind to your tongue, overflow. Which means that Satan has filled your mind with lies. So therefore it comes out of your mouth. But he says it's continually in the mouth of those who are not taught. He said a thief is better than a man that is accustomed to a lie. Even if one speaks to you lies, teaches you lies, you speaking lies yourself. He said, man, a thief is better than you. Even if you listening to a lie, you listen to a mischievous tongue. He meant a thief is better than you. But they both shall have destruction to the heritage. It's written. They said if a ruler hearkens to lies, all his servants are wicked. But they both shall have the destruction to heritage. A lie is continually in the mouth of the untaught. Be like, yeah, you can lie a little bit. You just don't lie to us. Huh? Yahuwah is not a man or Ish, a child, and he should lie. What Yahuwah say, that's what's going to happen. And it says, the disposition of a liar is dishonorable, and his shame is ever with him, because he despises wisdom and nurture. Right? You ever seen somebody who lied to get something or get through things, but then you go to prison and you be like, man, that lie is always with you. Get out, it's with you. It's in their record. They go to get a job, it's in their record. They go here, it's in their record. They try to do anything, right? It's in their record. They get pulled over by the police, they pull them up, it's in their record. He's like, man, I want a clean record. Wipe out all my criminal record. So when I travel freely, nobody won't look at me like I used to. The disposition of a liar is dishonorable, and his shame is ever with him. A wise man shall promote himself to honor with his words, and he that have understanding will please great men. Right. So the Testament of Shamuan, or Simeon, that's H8095, chapter 3, says, and now, my children, pay heed to me. Beware of the ruach of deceit, because that comes all the way. Remember, you got lying and you get deceit, chicanery, concealment. All these things come later. The ruach of deceit and envy. For envy dominates the whole of man's mind, and does not permit him to eat or drink or do anything good. You think about envy, right? Envy of someone that have accomplished things or anything. He said that'll dominate your whole mind. Rather, it keeps probing him to destroy one whom he envies. It's going to keep coming. You mean it's back again? Why is it trying to tell me to do that again? Why does it keep probing me? You ever seen a prodding? You ever seen like a little gnat that just keep following you around? It gets annoying. He's like, man, this thing, it's going to keep bothering you until you give in. Till you destroy whom you envy. It says, whenever the one who is envied flourishes, the envious one languishes. Oh, man. Right? It says, out of the fear of Yahuwah, I chastened my soul with fasting for 2 years. And I came to know that freedom, or he say liberation from envy, occurs through the fear of Yahuwah. The fear of Yahuwah is the beginning of wisdom. They that trust in Yahuwah will understand the truth. Yahweh, you Yahweh, Yahuwah. You in awness, you have deep respect for him. He say, man, it'll liberate you from envy. Because who would you have to envy? You like, man, I fear Yahuwah, the one who made all things and who knows all the thoughts of man. You have no need to envy nobody. Why? Because you fear Yahuwah. The only person you should be actually fearing is Yahuwah. Yahuwah made all things. The only person you should envy is him. But why would you envy him? But he made everything. He knows your thoughts. So why are you going to envy somebody lower than him? It makes absolutely no sense. When he gave the riches and the things that the person has that you envying. Why would you envy him? Somebody lower than the one who made all things. He's like, I envy you and everything you have. Why? Yahuwah gave it to him. Yahuwah is the one who created it all. Fear him. It says, if anyone flees to Yahuwah for refuge, the evil Ruach spirit will quickly depart from him. Now you see how Satan played, these evil spirits play. They're only trying to get you to destroy your neighbor, to destroy your family, destroy your relationship, destroy your wife, destroy your husband, destroy your children, destroy your accomplishments, destroy things that they want everything to be destroyed. Because it's not the individual who's envy. They have a little bit of envy in their mind, and that envy that they have in their thought process, the evil spirit manipulates that person. It stays with them. It said it'll quickly depart. Once you go to fear Yahuwah, man, that thing leaves so fast. It says, and his will is eased. Because that will was strong. Now it's very eased off. It's no longer as strong as it used to be. It says, from then on he has compassion on whom he envied. Which means now the person is more humble, is having compassion. Because usually when you're envying somebody, you're trying to kill them. You're trying to destroy them. So now you're having compassion. You're not trying to kill them or destroy them anymore. Now you're no longer envying that person. You're not trying to kill them. And now you're not plotting anymore. You have compassion. And he has sympathetic feelings with those who love him. Thus, his envy ceases. So now he started looking at the people around him. They really do love me. They care about me, because the evil spirit convinced them that they didn't. And then now he got envy and jealousy. And now the evil spirit gone. Now that person can now get themselves back to balance. Compassion, love, people around him, the people around her. They can see the love, and they can see, and the envy stops. But this thing will dominate your whole mind. Envy. So mostly Proverbs 8:13, the fear of Yahuwah is hatred of Ra. This is things to hate. Hatred of evil. Hate these things. Hatred of pride and arrogance. That, remember, we just talked about he's going to put you to shame. He said, surely he knows all your thoughts. And your intents and your sins you hide. It says, and the way of evil and perverted speech I hate. I have counsel and sound wisdom. I have insight. I have strength. Tahalim Psalms 40:4. A shar or a share is the man or woman who makes Yahuwah his trust, because you're going to understand the truth. You ain't going to lean to your own understanding. Your healing, your flesh is going to be healed. You're going to have a long life. You're going to have a merry heart and gladness and glee. You're going to be jumping around, leaping for joy, because you're healed. Leaping and jumping and praising Yahuwah. It says, the man makes Yahuwah's trust, who does not turn to the proud. Why would you turn to the proud? He who is going to put them to shame. Pride. That's one of the spirits of error and sleep. And those who go astray after a lie. He said, if you go astray after a lie and you turn to the proud, man, you ain't, guess what? You ain't joyful, you ain't happy. How you say, they say happy or simcha. Man, you don't went after a lie, Kazab, or the demons of the spirits and things that manipulate people's mind, that coerce people into destroying each other and our neighbor. So the word for how you say joy or happy or a share is happiness, blessed, right? Blessed or barak. When you start trusting him for everything, man, you got no reason to envy nobody. Like, man, my Abba made everything. He made all things. I have no reason to envy somebody who has something that he gave you. I serve the one who made all things, so therefore I have no need to envy you. I have no need to look at you a different way. He made you. So Psalm 7:14, behold, the wicked man conceives evil and is pregnant with mischief and gives birth to lies. He makes a pit, digging it out. So he put work into that thing. So he got lies, and he digging pits with lies, and he working that thing, digging that thing out. With the sweat of his brow, right? Digging it out, and falls into the hole that he has made. How clumsy are you? You dig that big old hole with a ditch with your lies, and then you fall into it. That's what happens when you give birth to lies. You get pregnant. Yeah, a man can get pregnant too. You can conceive evil in your mind. You give birth to it in your thoughts. Every imagination and thought is evil continually. You dig your own hole, and you will fall in your own hole. It says, his mischief returns upon his own head, and on his own skull his violence descends. And when you fall into that hole, you crack your skull. Boom. You fall on the rocks that are down there. Or you mean, yeah, you hit your head real hard. Psalm 104, 101, and 7. No one who practices deceit shall dwell in my house. It is a spirit of error and sleep. No one who utters lies shall continue before my eyes. You won't. Yahuwah says nobody. No one. You give untruths. He said, man, you ain't going to continue before my eyes. Chmy'shy Proverbs 19:9 said, a false witness will not go unpunished. That means they're a liar. That's the only way you're going to be a false witness. You got to be a liar. And he who breathes out lies, Kazab, will perish. I mean, you spoke. He said, open your mouth who will brought low. When you brought low and you come up and you start speaking lies, you might want to get brought low again. He said, you're going to perish. Right. This is Chmy'shy 20:4. It says, haughty eyes and a proud heart. I mean, we talk about being proud. He's going to put you to shame. He said, the lamp of the wicked are sin. The plans of the diligent lead surely to abundance. Notice his plans. But everyone who is hasty comes only to poverty. Right? There's always a plan to it. The getting of treasures by a lying tongue or shakir tongue or taking a bribe is the spirit of error and sleep. A lying tongue is fleeting vapor and a snare of death, for the wages of sin is death. The wages of sin is death. A lying tongue. So in Chmy'shy Proverbs 12:19, truthful lips endure forever, but a lying tongue, a shakir, is but for a moment. It ain't gonna last that long. It won't last that long. It's only for a moment. Deceit is in the heart of those who devise evil, Ra. So when you saw every imagination and thought is evil, an evildoer listen to a lying lips, listen to a mischievous tongue. Lying tongue is only for a moment. But those who plan peace, but those who plan shalom have joy. Simcha. It's happy because you trust in Yahuwah. You planning peace. You know how many people plan peace? You be like, man, nobody planning a lie. I ain't planning no Kazab. I ain't planning no shakir. I ain't digging no ditch. Man, you planning peace. Shalom. You have simcha. You have joy, glee, gladness. Guess what it says after that? It says, no ill or aven. I mean, we talked about aven. No evil or aven befalls. It says befalls or now the righteous. But the wicked are filled with trouble. Lying lips are an abomination to Yahuwah, but those who act faithfully are his delight. So when we start looking at these things, it says no ill wind or aven, no evil or wickedness, anah, or befalls the righteous. But the wicked are filled with trouble. Lying or lips are an abomination to Yahuwah, but those who act faithfully are his delight. So the word for a moment is regah. It says, but for a moment. Lying lips or shakir, we went over that word already, is a for a moment. For a moment, what? Is regah. It means, but truthful lips endure forever, but lying lips stir up. To cause, it says to harden. It will harden the heart. When we talk about taking a stony heart, oh, you hard-hearted people, go from a hard-hearted heart to a heart of flesh. He said, but you get lying lips again, it'll harden your heart again. It'll harden you. It'll quiet you. They that once brought low, open your mouth and speak. He said, man, it'll quiet you. Why? Because one is concealing it. It says, the skin with boils. Right? Because he got lying lips. Right? Or he said, or you're joined to somebody who's speaking lying lips. It says, to toss violently. Right? All these aspects. So the word for befalls, it says, the word for befalls, or then no wickedness will befall. No wickedness will meet. No wickedness will approach the righteous. No wickedness will meet with the right. Why? Because the righteous is going to speak light. It says, no wickedness will be allowed to meet. That's why he had to ask Yahuwah, it says, have you tried my servant Eve, who perfect and upright, man? He was righteous. And all his work, he had to ask for permission. He had to be allowed to do it. Satan had to be allowed to do it. To meet. Or how you say, have intercourse. That's what meeting is. It won't approach. It won't seek a quarrel. Right? Or befall or deliver. Yahuwah's servant must not be quarrelsome, but kind to everyone. Able to teach. Patiently enduring evil. Patiently. Befall, deliver, happen to seek a quarrel. He said, man, you won't be able to do that to the righteous, right? It won't even befall you. It won't even be able to approach you. It won't even allow it to meet. Nah. So when we start looking at all those aspects, as we moved out of that segment, we start looking at the movement patterns and the understanding of what's taking place. So now, take all those things we know, and we start looking at these things in the storylines. Right? This is Yirmiyahu 36, 1 through 32. In the 14th year, we've got a lot of reading to do, but we're going to get through it. It says, in the 14th year of Jehoiakim, the son of Josiah, king of Yehuda, his word came to Yirmiyahu from Yahuwah. Take a scroll, right? Keep that in mind, and write on it all the words that I have spoken to you against the Yasharal and Yehuda, and all the nations from the day I spoke to you. So Yahuwah against everybody. Yasharal, Yehuda, and everybody. The whole Goyim, the nations, everybody. Right? And just against it. It's from the days of Josiah until today. It may be that the house of Yehuda will hear all the disaster that I intend to do to them, so that every one may turn from his evil way, or Ra, that I may forgive their iniquity and their sin. How he says, surely he know your thoughts and all the sins you hide. He created all things. I see you. He said what? He said, I may forgive their iniquity and their sin. Surely they're going to do this. Let's see. Then Yirmiyahu called Baruch, the son of Neriah, and Baruch wrote on a scroll at the dictation of Yirmiyahu all the words of Yahuwah that he had spoken to him. And Yirmiyahu ordered Baruch, saying, I am banned from going to the house of Yahuwah. So you are to go. And on the day of fasting, in the hearing of all the people in Yahuwah's house, you shall read the words of Yahuwah from the scroll. From the scroll that you have written at my dictation. And you shall read them also in the hearing of all the men of Yehudah who come out of their cities. Right, so you're going to read this scroll, right? He said he wrote on a scroll, right? It says, it may be that their plea for mercy will come before Yahuwah, and that everyone will turn from his evil way. For great is the anger and wrath that Yahuwah has pronounced against this people. So when we start looking at when Yahuwah's anger was killed, he said, I'm going to blot out them by my word. I judge them by my word. In Bereshith, he said, I'm going to do it. I'm going to blot out man that I've created. Because they're evil, they're raw, and they listen to a mischievous tongue. They listen to the words of Satan. They listen to the words of Mastama. They listen to the words of Azazel. They listen to the words of Shemjaza. Listen to the words of Asbaal. They listen to the words of Montambusa. They listen to the words of other beings and demons and spirits. And other Malachi and Penuel. Guess what he says. And Baruch, the son of Neriah, did all that Yirmiyahu the Nabi ordered him to do. It says, well, here we go. It says, and it may be that their plea for mercy, verse 7, will come before Yahuwah, and that every one will turn from his evil way. For great is the anger and wrath that Yahuwah has pronounced against this people. And Baruch, the son of Neriah, and all that Yirmiyahu the Nabi had ordered him about reading from the scroll the words of Yahuwah in Yahuwah's house. Right. So the word for scroll is migla. Roll, book, writing. A roll, a volume, a scroll. So he wrote on a migla. A migla. That's what he wrote down. So the word for wrote is katab. Right? He wrote it. To write down, to register. Right? People talking about registering. You know, whether it's in your country or your state. Like, we're not talking about voting, we're talking about registering. Getting in the registry of the Malkuth, the Chmy'shy, to be written down, to be recorded, to be written in the book of life, to be enrolled, to be great. But he said, what do you got to do? He said, surely they'll turn from their evil way, the ra that they do. Their plots, their plans, their purposes, their imaginations, their thoughts, their understanding. Their shakir, their line, their kazab, their ditch digging. Grave diggers. It says decreed. So he katab, right? Migla. Katab, right? So when you look at these words, keep these in mind. It says, continue. Verse 9 says, in the 5th year of Jehoiakim, the son of Josiah, king of Yehudah, in the 9th month, that's the month we're in right now. In the 9th month, all the people of Jerusalem and all the people who came from the cities of Yehudah to Jerusalem proclaimed a fast before Yahuwah. Then, in the hearing of all the people, Baruch read the words of Yirmiyahu from the Miglah, in the house of Yahuwah, in the chamber of Gemariah, the son of Shaphan, the secretary, which was in the upper court at the entry of the new gate of Yahuwah's house. So these are all the government officials. And when Micaiah, the son of Jeremiah, the son of Shaphan, heard all the words of Yahuwah from the scroll, he went down to the king's house, into the secretary chamber, and all the officials were sitting there, and Elishama, secretary, and Delaiah, the son of Shemaiah, and Ethan, son of Akbor, and Jeremiah, the son of Shaphan, Zedekiah, the son of Hananiah, and all the officials, and Micaiah told them all the words that he had heard. And Baruch read the scroll, or the Miglah, in the hearing of the people. I'm reading it. He said, I'm reading it in the hearing of the people, right? Then all the officials sent Yehudi, the son of Nathaniah, the son of Shemaliah, the son of Cushi, to say to Baruch, take in your hand the scroll that you read in the hearing of the people, and come. So Baruch the son of Neriah took the scroll in his hand and came to them. And they said to him, sit down and read it. So Baruch read it to them. When they heard all the words, they turned to one another in fear. The fear of Yahuwah is the beginning of wisdom, right? The fear, Yahweh, right? They feared him. They like, look at here. And they said to Baruch, you must report all these words to the king. Then they asked Baruch, tell us, please, how did you write all these words? What was it at his, he says, how did you write these words? Was it at his dictation? Baruch answered them, he dictated all these words to me while I wrote them with ink on the scroll. Then the official said to Baruch, go and hide, you and Yirmiyahu, and let no one know where you are. So guess what the word for ink is? The word for ink is deo. You know how to say deo, but we ain't talking about that. When we start looking at deo, the word for ink is deo. Ink, 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 right? It means ink. He wrote it with ink. Daylight comes and you want to go home. Deo. So when we start looking at Deo, we start looking at an agenda. Right? We start looking at an agenda. He said, I wrote it with ink. That's what he said. I wrote it down with ink. But Yirmiyahu was banned, so he couldn't go there and speak it to them. So he had to have somebody write it down with Deo on some ink, Baruch, and he had to go tell it to them and read it to them off pen and ink, because usually it would take place another way, but he was banned. So this is First Enoch or Hanuk or Kanuk 69, 7 through 11. It says, the children of the people, through their agency, death proceeds against the people who dwell upon the earth, for that day and forevermore. Guess what it says? These are the Malachi's. The fourth is named Penimel, right? This one demonstrated to the children of the people the bitter and sweet, right? We just talked about bitter and sweet, right? And revealed to them the secrets of their wisdom. When we talk about bitter and sweet, we're talking about poison. You know how you mix things in the glass and make it look like there ain't no poison in it and it be like sweet, but it don't taste sweet. It don't taste like nothing in it, but it's poison in it. Right? You put wormwood in the glass and you be trying to make it seem like it, put some poison in it and trying to make it seem like it's sweet, like lemonade. But in actuality, it's poison. What else he taught them? And it says, furthermore, he caused the people to penetrate the secrets of writing and the use of pen, of use of ink and paper. Deo. On the account of this matter, there are many who have erred from eternity to eternity. The lying pen of the scribes, as Yirmiyahu said. Deo. The lying pen of the scribes. Until this very day, for human beings are not created for such purposes to take their beliefs with pen and ink. So now you see why Yirmiyahu said, I'm banned, I can't go. So write this down in a Migla. Deo. Write this down. Because being that they don't listen to Yahuwah, they'll listen to Deo. They'll listen to Deo. They'll listen to ink and paper. Penny-way, because they ain't following Yahuwah. They're following the lying pen of the scribes, who turned it into a lie. Deo. Daylight come and you want to go home. So this is Tahalim 45:1. My heart overflows with pleasing theme. I address my verses to the king. Isn't that what Baruch getting ready to do? My tongue is like the pen of a ready scribe. Those who were once brought low speak. But Yahuwah has given a mouth to his creation. a tongue. He gave you lips. Let it overflow from your heart to your lips. My tongue is like a pen, a ready scribe. Right? Because we were never designed to take our beliefs on by pen and ink. But he said, my tongue is like one, though. Written without a pen. So it continued. Yirmiyahu 36:20 says, so they went into the court of the king, having put the scroll in the chamber of Elishama, the secretary, and they reported all the words to the king. Then the king sent Yehudi to get the scroll, the Miglah, and took it from the chamber of Ishmael, the secretary. And Yehudi read it to the king and all the officials. And he would say, I'm ready. And guess what he did? He read it to the king and all the officials who stood beside the king. It was the 9th month. That's what month we in. The 9th month. Surely they're going to turn away from their wickedness and their evil deeds and their wrath. Now, it's the 9th month. And the king was sitting in the winter house, and there was a fire burning in the fire pot before him. And Yehudi read 3 or 4 columns, and the king would cut them off. It says columns. It says the king would cut them off with a knife and throw them into the fire and into the fire pot until the entire scroll was consumed in the fire that was in the pot. So he only read 4 lines, and he already threw it in the pot. He already burned it. Yet neither the king nor any of the servants who heard all these words was afraid. The other people were feared. Right? The fear of Yahuwah is the beginning of wisdom. But when the other people heard, turn from your evil ways and your wrath, that Yahuwah may amend your sins, they weren't scared. They weren't even afraid. Because the fear of Yahuwah is the beginning of wisdom and knowledge. He said, those who practice it have a good understanding, which means they forsook Yahuwah, they don't understand the truth, and they don't trust Yahuwah, and they don't understand what he's being said. And their children wicked, and their wives are foolish, and their children wicked, and their offspring are cursed. Because they won't turn from the evil way. Guess what it says? Nor did they tear their garments. Even when Enithian and Deliah and Gemariah urged the king not to burn the scroll, he would not listen to them. He ain't care. You know why he ain't listen to them? He said, they that fear Yahuwah, they understand the truth. They that don't, he said, they speak against the truth. Or they're against it. He burned it. He said, and the king commanded Jeremiel, the king's son, and Seraiah, the son of Azrael, and Shemaliah, the son of Abiel, to seize Baruch, the secretary, and Yirmiyahu the Nabi, but Yahuwah hid them. I wonder if he not listening to the words of Yahuwah to return him from your sin and your wrath, who is the king listening to? Oh, you mean a mischievous tongue, a lying lips, a Kazab. They that do wicked deeds or wrath will listen to a mischievous tongue, lying lips. That's why he burnt the scroll. He's speaking the truth. He ain't for it. He works together with Satan. He concealing hatred and lying. Oh yes, the king is. It says, now after the king had burnt the scroll with the words that Baruch wrote at Yirmiyahu's dictation, the word of Yahuwah came to Yirmiyahu, take another scroll and write on it all the former words that were in the first scroll. It said, write it again. I know they ain't hear you the first time, but do it again. At the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, let every word be established. Guess what? Which Jehoiakim, the king of Yehuda, had burned. I don't care if you burn it. I'm going to write it again. And concerning Yahuwah, king of Yehuda, you shall say, thus saith Yahuwah, you have burnt the scroll, saying, why have you written in it that the king of Babylon will certainly come and destroy this land, and will cut off from it man and beast? Therefore, thus says Yahuwah concerning Jehoiakim, king of Yehuda, he shall have none to sit on the throne of David, and his dead body shall be cast out to the heat by the day, and the frost by night. So when you look at this aspect, you look at when the sun went down at noon, when Yahushua was on the stake, on the cross. It says his dead body shall be cast out to the heat by the day, right? He was up there. He was up on the cross. The sun was up. He was in there about a heat of day. But when he got to about the 12th or the 6th hour, the sun went down at noon. From the 6th to the 9th hour. And it says, and guess what it says? And the frost by night. He said, your dead body. It's the 9th month too, when this happened. Guess what it says? And I will punish him and his offspring and his servants for their iniquity. And the reproaches of them reproach thee fell on me. It all fell on him, Yahushua Mashiach. He said, I will bring upon them and upon the inhabitants of Jerusalem and upon the people of Yehuda all the disasters that I have pronounced against them. But they will not hear. He said, Yahushua said, don't wait for me, wait for your children. He said, they're going to lay you flat to the ground. But they will not hear him then. He said, those in the mountain, don't come down. Right? Don't flee. He said, in the field, don't go back. But they will not hear. Just like they don't hear today. Every imagination and thought of man's heart right now, 2022 AD, Yahushua has died, rose, and ascended. And every imagination and thought is evil continually. And guess what? Yahuwah intends to blot out man whom he created on the earth again. And what it says, then Yirmiyahu took another scroll and gave it to Baruch the scribe, the son of Neriah, who wrote it in the dictation of Yirmiyahu, and all the words of the scroll that Jehoiakim king of Yehuda had burned in the fire, and many similar words were added to them. So he added that. It was like, let me add some more to that. You know, you say one thing, you say it twice, you say it again and again and again, but then you keep adding more to it over and over and over again, and people still don't listen and they don't get it. Why does he keep adding more to it? Even though he says the same thing, but he keeps adding more to the same thing he said. So this is Yirmiyahu chapter 37, verse 1. So when we start looking at these things, right? And it says right here, it says, Zedekiah, the son of Josiah, whom Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, made king in the land of Yehuda, reigned instead of Coniah, the son of Jehoiakim. But neither he nor his servants, nor the people of the land listened to the words of Yahuwah that he spoke through Yirmiyahu the Nabi, or the prophet. King Zedekiah sent Yahukal, the son of Shamaliah, and Zephaniah the priest, and the son of Messiah to Yirmiyahu the Nabi, saying, please pray for us to Yahuwah our Elohim. Now Yirmiyahu was still going in and out among the people, for he had not yet been put in prison. The army of Pharaoh had come out of Mizraim, and when the Chaldeans who were besieging Jerusalem heard news about them, they withdrew from Jerusalem. Then the word of Yahuwah came to Yirmiyahu the Nabi. Thus says Yahuwah, Elohim of Yasharal, thus shall you say to the king of Yehuda, right, who sent you to me to inquire of me, behold, Pharaoh's army that came to help you is about to return to Mizraim, to his own land. And the Chaldeans shall come back and fight against the city, and they shall capture it and burn it with fire. Thus says Yahuwah, do not deceive yourselves. Do not deceive yourself. You mean self-deceive, Nabi'im? Self-deceive people? Any man be a hearer of the word and not a doer, you are self-deceived. Do not deceive yourselves, saying, the Chaldeans will surely go away from us, for they will not go away. For even if you should defeat the whole army of the Chaldeans who are fighting against you, and there remain to them only wounded men, every man in his tent, they would rise up and burn the city with fire. Now when the Chaldean army had withdrawn from Jerusalem at the approach of the Pharaoh's army, Yirmiyahu set out from Jerusalem to go to the land of Benjamin to receive the portion thereof among his people. And when he was at Benjamin's gate, a sentry named Iriah, but it actually means Yareh, and it says son of Shemaiah, son of Hananiah, seized Yirmiyahu the Nabi, saying, you are deserting to the Chaldeans. And Yirmiyahu said, it is a lie, a Kazab, a Shaker. I am not deserting to the Chaldeans, but Yareya, his name means fearful of Yah. Fearful of Yah, the beginning of the fear of Yahuwah is the beginning of Yah, but why would you say you have a name called Yah, the fearful of Yah, but yet you telling a lie? So your name don't mean anything that you have. He said you have the name Yah, it means fearful of Yah, but you telling a lie. He said, would you not? He says, but Yah would not listen to him. Why? Because he just reproved him and he hates the truth. He works together with Satan. He just told a lie. He had lying lips. He worked together with Satan. He was following the devil, Satan. And he spoke the truth to him, said it's a lie. He reproved him and he said, did not listen. Amazingly, Yahusha said, in Yuchanan chapter 8, he said, how come you don't understand what I say? It's a lie. He said, it's because you don't hear Yahuwah's word and you are not of Yahuwah. Even though you got Yeriah as your name. Guess what it says? And he said, well, now listen to him, and seized Yirmiyahu and brought him to the officials. Isn't that what it did to Yahusha too? They took him to the chief priests and the scribes and the elders. They brought him to him. And guess what it says? It says, guess what it says? And brought him to the officials, and the officials were enraged at Yirmiyahu. Yes, they were. And they beat him and imprisoned him in the house of Jonathan the secretary, for it had been made a prison. It says, when Yirmiyahu had come to the dungeon cells, he remained there many days. That's why Yahusha, when he came to put him in a tomb for 3 days, what happened? He remained there many days, about 3 days. And 3 nights. And they beat him too. They beat Yahusha too. They brought him to the officials and they beat him too. And amazingly, they put him in prison. Yahusha he said, Satan gonna cast some of you into prison. He said, be faithful. He said, for 10 days you be tried, be faithful unto death. Huh? Why? Because you speaking the words of Yahuwah. And they hate the truth. They speak against the truth. Because you know why they speak the truth? Because deceit and envy and jealousy and the spirits of error and sleep and concealing hatred and lying has blinded and darkened their mind to what? Now they work together with Satan. Now they telling lies with Yahuwah's name on it. Taking Yahuwah's name in vain. Yeriah. Just took his name in vain. So this is Yirmiyahu 36, 1 through 12. This is Aramaic Targum, Jonathan. So this is a different version of it. The only reason I'm reading this different version is so you can hear different things, because the way they translate it, but you can still see it. But the only reason we're reading it, because we got to read it again, right? Why are we reading it again? He said, write the same thing again. Right, here we go. This is Yirmiyahu. It said, and it happened in the 4th year of Jehoiakim, the son of Josiah, the king of the tribe of the house of Yehudah, that this word was with Yirmiyahu from before Yahuwah, saying, take a scroll or Megillah for yourself and write on it all the words which I have spoken with you about Yasharal and about Yehudah and about all the nations from the day when I spoke with you, for the days of Josiah even up to this day. Perhaps the men of the house of Yehudah will hear all the evil which I am planning to do to them, so that each man will repent from his evil way, his rod, so that I may forgive their debts and their sins. So Yirmiyahu commanded Baruch, the son of Neriah, and Baruch wrote upon the scroll at Yirmiyahu's dictation, and all the words of Yahuwah which he had spoken with him. And Yirmiyahu commanded Baruch, saying, I am shut up. I cannot go in to the house of Yahuwah's sanctuary. But you yourself shall come and read the scroll which you have written at my dictation, the words of Yahuwah, before the people in the house of Yahuwah's sanctuary. on the fast day, and also before all those of the house of Yehuda, whom come from their cities. You shall read them. Perhaps their requests will be received before Yahuwah, and each man will repent of his evil way by his word. And they repented Yahuwah that he made man, and he did it by his word. So you're hearing the word today. He said, "Here, be man, be a hearer of the word, not a doer." He's like a man or a woman beholding their natural face in the glass, immediately forgetting who they were in the image and likeness of Yahuwah, and going after themselves in the mirror, their flesh. For great are the anger and the wrath which Yahuwah has decreed against this people, against the earth, against man, woman, and child. And Baruch, the son of Neriah, did according to all that Yirmiyahu did not be commanded him, to read the scroll, the words of Yahuwah, in the house of Yahuwah. And in the 5th year of Jehoiakim, the son of Josiah, the king of the tribe of the house of Yehuda, in the 9th month, they decreed a fast before Yahuwah, all the people of Jerusalem and all the people who were coming from the cities of the house of Yehuda in Jerusalem. So Baruch read the scroll, the words of Yirmiyahu, in the house of Yahuwah's sanctuary, in the chamber of Jeremiah, the son of Shaphan, the scribe, in the upper court, in the entrance of the east gate of the house of Yahuwah, Yahuwah's sanctuary, before all the people. Right? Now Micaiah, the son of Jeremiah, the son of Shaphan, heard all the words of Yahuwah from the scroll, and went down to the king's house, to the scribe's chamber, and behold, all the princes were sitting there, Elishama the scribe, and Delilah, the son of Shemaiah, and Enathan, the son of Akbor, and the son of Gemaiah, and Shaphan, and Zekiah, the son of Hananiah, and all the princes. And Micaiah told them all the words that he had heard from Baruch. Baruch read from the scroll before the people. Then all the princes, it says, then all the princes sent to Baruch Yehudi, the son of Neriah, the son of Shemaiah, the son of Cushi, saying, as for the scroll which you read before the people, take it in your hand and come. So Baruch, the son of Neriah, took the scroll in his hand and came. Then they said, sit down and read it before us. So Baruch read it before them, and when they heard the words, they looked at each other in fear, and said to Baruch, we shall certainly tell the king of these words. Then they asked Baruch, saying, tell us now, how did you write these words in the dictation? So you can see Yehudi, when it got Baruch, and they heard it, and they were in fear. Are you in fear? People say, fear of what? Then they asked Baruch, saying, tell us how did you write all these words at his dictation? Right? So Baruch said to them, he pronounced all these words to me with his mouth. With what? With his mouth. His pen was like a ready scribe. His mouth was like a ready scribe. He did it with his mouth, right? And I wrote on the scroll with the ink. Then the princes said to Baruch, go hide, you and Yirmiyahu, and let no man know where you are. So they came to the king to the courtyard and deposited the scroll in the chamber of Elishama the scribe, and declared all the words before the king. Then the king sent Yehudi to take the scroll, and he took it from the chamber to Elishama the scribe. And Yehudi read it before the king and before all the princes who were standing beside the king. And the king was sitting in the winter house, in the 9th month. So he had two houses, he had multiple houses. Winter house, right? So we look at this 9th month as we're going towards winter. They would call it autumn, but it's really winter. It's a part of winter, just like spring is a part of summer. It's only two seasons, but they are part of each other. Two becoming one, right? In a winter house in the 9th month, and they lit a fire in front of him. So they had the fireplace on, living it up. Now it happened that when Yehudi had heard these 3 pages, so you think about it, you got a nice winter house and another house in the winter house in the 9th month, and then you're going to talk about somebody getting ready to take all this from me? Material possessions. Things that one has. You think about that. This wasn't in the other one, but you don't think about that. You're in a nice winter house, you just got all these things, now you're talking about something, you telling me I'm getting ready to lose all this stuff? And guess what? Satan uses that as an opportunity. Let's see what happens. And they lit the fire in front of him. Now it happened when Yehudi had heard when Yehudi had read these 4 pages, he tore it with the scribe's knife. He threw it into the fire, which was burning coals, until all the scroll was consumed on the fire, which was upon the coals. But they were not afraid, nor did they tear their garments. And the king nor the servants had who heard all these words. So you see Yehudi, or you mean a Yehudi tearing up the words of Yahuwah and throwing it in and burning it in the fire. A Yehudi. A Yehudi. So verse 25, and then Ethananim also and Delilah and Jeremiah besought the king that he should not burn the scroll. But he did not listen to them. Why? Because these are the fathers of the devil, Satan. You're not finna take my house, my winter house. It's the 9th month. It's cold outside. And you telling me somebody finna come and take my stuff? No. I ain't listening to that. So the king commanded Jeremiel, the king's son, and Sariah, the son of Azriel, and Shemaliah, the son of Abiel, to take Baruch and the scribe and Yirmiyahu, the scribe of Yirmiyahu, the prophet. But Yahuwah protected them. So now when people, you start messing with their money, their house, you start messing with their nice fireplace and everything they got, oh yeah, they come and get your behind. Say what? Then the word of the prophecy from before Yahuwah was with Yirmiyahu after the king had burnt the scroll, and the word which Baruch had written at the dictation of Yirmiyahu. He said, again, take for yourself another scroll and write on it in the former words which were on the first scroll, which Jehoiakim, the king of the tribe of Yahuwah, the house of Yehuda, has burnt. 9th, right? This all in the 9th month. And concerning Jehoiakim, the king of the tribe of the house of Yehuda, ye shall say, thus saith Yahuwah, you yourself have burnt this scroll, saying, why have you written on it? Saying, so Yahuwah know when you burn stuff. Oh, you think you're going to get rid of the word of it? Nah. The king of the Malach of Babylon shall surely come and destroy this land and abolish man and beast from it. I come and take your little nice winter house with your nice fireplace. Because y'all ain't going to turn from your evil way. You can have all these nice things, but you can't be evil with it. You can have nice things, well, beautiful things, but you say y'all evil with it. He's like, man, I'm going to take that junk. I'm going to take everything. He's like, no, I ain't listening to that. Nope. Just like the movie. Nope. Nope. Concerning Jehoram, the king of the tribe of the house of Yehuda, he shall not have a man. If it says, he says, the king of Babylon shall surely come and destroy this land and abolish man from it. Verse 30. Therefore, thus saith Yahuwah concerning Jehoiakim, the king of the tribe of the house of Yehuda, he shall not have a man sitting on the throne of David, and his corpse shall be cast to the scorching heat by day and the ice by night. Right? That's the same thing when Yahushua on the cross from the 3rd to the 6th hour, right? In the daytime, and the 6th to the 9th hour by night. Ice of night, heat of the day, right? You start seeing both transpiring. And it said, and I will visit their sins upon him, and upon his sons, and upon his servants. And I will bring on them all the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and all the men of Yehuda, every evil which I have decreed against them. That's why when Yahushua was on the stage, he said, I looked for pity and I found none. He said, reproach them that approached thee, Yahuwah, that went against you, that was evil against you, it fell all on me, Yahushua Mashiach. He had to die. He had to. It says, and Yirmiyahu took another scroll and gave it to Baruch. Actually, verse 31 says, and I will visit upon the sins upon them, and upon their sons, and upon his servants, and I will bring upon them on the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and on the men of Yehuda, every evil that I have decreed against them. But they did not listen. And Yirmiyahu took another scroll and gave it into Baruch, the son of Neriah, the scribe, and he took on it, at the dictation of Yirmiyahu, all the words of the scroll which Jehoiakim, the king of the tribe of the house of Yehuda, had burned in the fire. And again, there were added to them many words like them. Right. So 37, Aramaic Targums. We almost finished. Then Zedekiah, the son of Josiah, reigned instead of Coniah, the son of Jehoiakim. And when Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, had made king in the land of the house of Yehuda, but neither he nor his servants nor the people of the land listened to the words of Yahuwah, which he has spoken by the hand of Yirmiyahu the Nabi. Now when Zedekiah sent Yahukal, the son of Shemaliah, and Zephaniah, the son of Messiah, the priest, to Yirmiyahu the Nabi, saying, "Pray now for us before Yahuwah our Elohim." And Yirmiyahu was coming in and going out among the people, for they had not put him in the prisoner's house. And Pharaoh's troops were coming out of Mizraim, and the Chaldeans who were besieging Jerusalem had heard the report of them, and had withdrawn from against Jerusalem. Then the word of the prophecy from before Yahuwah was with Yirmiyahu the Nabi. It says, the Nabi, saying, "Thus says Yahuwah, the Elohim of Yasharal, thus shall you say to the Malach, the king of the tribe of the house of Yehuda, who sent you before me to seek instruction from before me. Behold, the troops of Pharaoh, which have come to you to help you, shall return to their land, to Mizraim, and the Chaldeans shall return and wage war against his city and conquer it and burn it with fire. But thus saith Yahuwah, do not deceive yourselves." Right? And you hear the word and not do it, you're deceiving yourself, saying the Chaldeans will certainly withdraw from us. Don't be making up your own thing in your own mind. For they will not withdraw. Even if you were to kill all the troops of the Chaldeans who wage war with you, there would be left among you them wounded men. Each man in his tent would rise up and burn the city with fire. Why? Because Yahuwah already said, whatever Yahuwah word pronounced, is going to accomplish everything he did. So no matter what you do, it's still going to come to pass. He said they'll just get up and just start. Even though if you wound them, they're going to get up. It says, "And now the troops of the Chaldeans withdrew from Jerusalem and before Pharaoh's troops. Yirmiyahu went out from Jerusalem to go to the land of the tribe of Benjamin to divide the inheritance, which belonged to him there in the midst of the people. And as he was in the gate of the tribe of Benjamin, the man appointed was there, and his name was Yariah, the son of Shemaiah, the son of Hananiah. And he sees Yirmiyahu the Nabi, saying, 'You are deserting to the Chaldeans.' And Yirmiyahu said, 'You are talking falsehood,' or shakir." That's what shakir means, falsehood, self-deceived Nabi. Who is that? Yariah, the fear of Yah. He is self-deceived Nabi. He's speaking lies, Kazab. "I am not deserting to the Chaldeans," but he did not listen to him. Why? Because he's of his father, Satan. How can you understand what I'm saying? So Yariah seized Yirmiyahu and brought him to the princes. So the princes were angry with Yirmiyahu, and they smote him and put him into prisoner's house, the house of Jonathan the scribe, for they had made it into a prisoner's house. When Yirmiyahu came into the prisoner's house, even in the midst of it, from the taverns, then Yirmiyahu dwelt there for many days. So when we start looking at this story, we start looking at, you can see the fear of Yahuwah, you can see hearing Yahuwah's word and despising it and burning it. You see it with the fear of Yahweh. You can see him writing on a scroll in Miglah. You can see him sending it to people, multiple people, and you can see people despising it because they have material possessions, things that they want to be taken away because they were living in comfort and luxury. You can see how they were doing evil and they want to turn from their wicked way. You can see how the thoughts and imaginations of their heart was only evil, and he was trying to get them to turn from that. And he sent him, and they had hatred and lying, deceit. They had spirits of error and sleep, all in the midst of all of that. And all types of demons and Satan working together. They all working together to stop the word of Yahuwah from coming to pass. And he said, even if you do try to stop it, you wound them, they're going to get up and they're going to still burn the city. Because it's going to accomplish everything I sent the word to do. Right? So this is Yirmiyahu 16 and 13. Now when now when Yahusha had come to the district, actually it's not Yirmiyahu, this is Yehukanan, I believe. I believe that's not right. But it says, now when Yahusha came to the district of Caesarea Philippi, he asked his disciples, who do people say that I am? Say the Son of Man am. So this is Matthew 16:13. It says, now when Yahusha came into the district of Caesarea Philippi, he asked his disciples, who do people say that I, Son of Man am? They said, some say Yochanan, others say Eliyahu or Aliyah, and others say Yirmiyahu or one of the Nabi'im. He said to them, but who do you say that I am? Who do you say that I am? Right? So when we start looking at Yirmiyahu, he said, who do you say that I am? He said, you are the son of Yahuwah. But I'll leave that up to the person. Who do you say that I am? He said, some say you are Yirmiyahu. So this is Matthew 26:62. And the High Khan stood up and said, have you no answer to make? What is this that these men testify against you? And Yahushua remained silent. Why? They brought him to him, just like they brought Yirmiyahu to him. And you get what he said? And the high priest said to him, I adjure you. Because remember, this is in the 9th month. You said to them, he said, I adjure you, by the living Elohim, tell us if you are the Mashiach, the son of Yahuwah. And Yahushua said to him, you have said so. But I tell you, from now on, you will see the Son of Man seated at the right hand of power and coming in the clouds of Chmy'shy. Then the High Kahan tore his robes and said, he has uttered blasphemy. What further witness do we need? He said, you have now heard his blasphemy. What is your judgment? They answered to him, he deserved death. Then they spit in his face and they struck him, just like they did Yirmiyahu. They brought him to the officials, they lied on him, then they brought him to the officials, and then they beat him and they struck him. And they slapped him, saying, Naba, prophesy. Or you mean Yirmiyahu the Nabi. Naba to us, you Mashiach. Who it is that struck you? Why? Because he's saying that what did Yirmiyahu was saying, or Yahuwah was saying? He's saying that their deeds were evil. And being that he's saying their deeds were evil, they hated him. They hated him because he said their deeds were evil. You sitting up in your winter house, and it's the 9th month, and I'm telling you that everything getting ready to be destroyed because your deeds are evil. And guess what happened? They beat his behind up. It's as simple as that. They punched him, they beat him up. Why? Because you getting ready to take away all my stuff. I beat your behind up. That's just the way it happened. Right? I beat you up. Right? Matthew 27:46. And about the 9th hour, right? Remember, it happened in the 9th month. This all happened in the 9th month. And about the 9th hour, Yahusha cried out with a loud voice, saying, Ali, or Aliyah, Aliyah, Lama Sabachthani. That is, my Elohim, why hast thou forsaken me? Why? Because he's going to put all the sin on him. And some of the bystanders hearing it said, this man is calling for Aliyah. And one of them at once ran and took a sponge, filled it with sour wine, and put it on a reed, and gave it to him to drink. But the other said, wait, let us see whether Al-Yahu will come to save him. And Yahusha cried out again, and with a loud voice, yielded up the Ruach. Why do you think he wrote it down twice? He said, you know what? They burned it. The king burned it. I'm gonna take all his stuff in his little night house in the 9th month. I'm gonna take it again, write it again. The same thing. Then you add to it. Hey, you remember when you burnt that scroll? I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to tell you again. I'm going to take all the stuff you got, and I'm going to do all these things to you. He said, I'm going to do it again. That's why he cried out twice. Lift up your voice like a tour and show them their transgressions. The house of Yehuda, Yasharal, and the nations. Right? All these took place, right? So when we start looking at these aspects, we start looking at these things, right? But he said, I'll do it again. He said, this is Zechariah 5:1. This is the Aramaic Targums, Jonathan. It says, I lifted up my eyes and saw, and behold, a flying miglah. That word for scroll is miglah. Remember he wrote it on the scroll? He wrote it on the scroll. It was in the 9th month. He wrote it on the scroll. He said, write it again on the scroll. Man, I see a flying miglah. That word for scroll is miglah. That same word as in Yirmiyahu. And he said to me, what do you see? I said, I see a flying miglah, a scroll. I see the word flying in the air. So its length is 20 cubits, right? You think about 20 cubits, you think about the kaf. And its breadth is 10 cubits, you think about the yad. And he said to me, this is the curse which shall go out upon the face of the whole land. This is the curse that shall go about the whole land. For everyone who steals and utters lies is punished by this. You mean this flying scroll, this miglah, this word that's going to come from Yahuwah. Oh, you mean that word that came to Yirmiyahu that he told to write on the scroll of miglah to give to, it was flying all over the place. And it flew to Baruch, then it flew to the king, then it flew to Yehudi, then it flew to the Yehudi, and it flew into the king, and he burned it. Then it flew back into Yirmiyahu's hand. Then it flew back into Baruch's hand, and he gave it back to the Yehudi, and the Yehudi gave it, and they burned it again. Right? You see, it just be flying all over the place. Then he said, if you try to change it, it's still going to happen. They're going to burn your city down. He said, I see a flying roll. He said, all those who utter lies. And then Uriah uttered lie. He's like, that's a lie. He said, that's falsehood. And then they beat him up because they're going to take their ninth month crib with their fireplace. So they beat him up, punched him in the face, and threw him in prison. Because the word of Yahuwah was punishing them behind because they're evil. And in that same book, in Yirmiyahu, he said that, man, everybody was all greedy of unjust gain. They were stealing. Let's go. He says, everyone who swears falsehood, by my name, Uriah. What did he do? He lied. Will be punished by this flying scroll. I have brought it forth, says Yahuwah of hosts, and it shall enter the house of the thief. The thief come in number to steal, kill, and destroy. You work together with Satan. And the house of him who swears falsely by my name. And it shall remain in the midst of his house, and shall destroy it with the timber and its stones. And the angel Malach who was speaking with me came out and said to me, lift up your eyes and see who these are that go into the exile. And I said, who are they? And he said, these are the people who were trading with false measures. You say, why are we in exile? We say, why we ain't there? And behold, they are going into exile before all the inhabitants of the earth. Behold, swift-footed people took them into exile in haste, and other peoples came and settled in their place, because they were trading with false measure. Oh. And he said, because of this, they were found guilty, and went into exile because they were trading with false measure. And other peoples came and settled in their place. And I lifted up my eyes and saw, and behold, 2 states going into exile. And swift-footed people were taking them into exile in haste, just as a vulture flies. And they took into exile the people who were trading with false measures among the kingdoms of the nations of the earth, which were under all the Chmy'shy's. And I said to the Malach, who was speaking with me, where are they taking the exiles of the people who were trading with false measure? And he said to me, to prepare a place for them in the province of Shinar, or Babylon, and they shall be detained and kept there until their time arrives. Oh, that's the same thing they did Yirmiyahu. They detained him. Right. But he said, what did you see? Yeshayahu 55:11 says, so the word be that goes out of my mouth, it shall not return to me empty, but it shall accomplish that which I purpose, and I shall succeed in the thing which I sent it. He sent it to Yirmiyahu, he sent it to Baruch, Yehudi, the king. They burned it, he sent it right back. And he said, man, it's gonna keep going. Then they threw him in prison and detained Yirmiyahu. He said, you know what? I'm gonna detain you. You're going to go to Babylon too, and they're going to detain you too. 70 years. right? Reposes and reproach thee, it fell on me. That's why Yahushua was detained in the grave for 3 days and 3 nights. Right? You say, what did you see? It says, Bereshit 1:1. In the beginning, Elohim created the Chmy'shy and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Ruach of Elohim was hovering upon the face of the waters. I see a flying scroll. What do you see? I see a flying scroll. It says, and Elohim said, let there be or, and there was or. And Elohim saw that the light was good. And Elohim separated the light from the darkness. And Elohim called the or Yum, and the darkness he called night, Layla. And there was evening, and there was morning the first day, Akkad. Just like when the sun goes down after today, it's going to be Akkad Yum, right? You start looking at this aspect, you say, oh, the first day. And you start seeing the transformation from one to the next, right? These are all aspects of a flying scroll. You say, whoa, this is a flying scroll. It was moving upon the face of the waters. Yes, this is a flying scroll. This is Psalms 104:1. Baruch Yahuwah, O my soul, Yahuwah, my Elohim. You are very great. You are clothed with splendor and majesty, covering thyself with light. As with a garment. Or, let there be light, stretching out the Shamayim. It says, like a tent. He lays the beams of his chamber, and of the waters he makes the clouds his chariots. He rides on the wings of the wind. Oh, you mean I see a flying scroll? He makes the messengers his winds, and his ministers a flaming fire. I see a flying scroll. So this Aleph Shamuel 22:8. Then the earth reeled and rocked. The foundations of the heavens trembled and quaked because he was angry. He said, smoke went up from his nostrils and a devouring fire from his mouth. Glowing coals flamed forth from him. He bowed the heavens and came down. Thick darkness was upon his feet. He rode upon the cherub and flew. He was seen on the wings of the wind. I see a flying scroll. I see a flying roll. I see a flying scroll. A miglah. Right? This Bereshit. So when you start looking at these aspects, I mean, what do you see? Right? When Yahushua was on the cross, on the stake, he was above the people. Right? It said the word of Yahuwah was made flesh and dwelt among us as the only begotten. And when they had him on the reed, that we read in Matthew 27, he said they lifted up the reed and gave him sour wine. Why? Because he was above the people. He was a flying scroll. Right? Because there was darkness over the land from the 6th to the 9th hour. Because he told Yirmiyahu, he said, I'm going to put your dead body before the cold at night. Right? So this is Bereshit 29 and 31. So we're moving away, but it still has a culmination to the story. Bereshit 29:31. And when Yahuwah saw that Leah was hated, because you hated, you concealing hatred, right? Concealing hatred. It says he opened her womb, but Rachel was barren, and Leah conceived and bore a son. And she called his name Reuben, or Reuben. And she said, because Yahuwah looked upon my affliction, He looked upon my affliction, for now my husband will love me. Surely we'll love him now. He said, surely, man, he done looked at my affliction, surely my husband will love me. She conceived again and bore a son. And because Yahuwah has heard that I am hated, right? He has given me this son also. And she called his name Shemuel, or Simeon. Again she conceived, they bore a son, and said, now this my husband will be attached to me, because I have borne him 3 sons. Therefore his name is called Louis. And she conceived again and bore a son, and said, this time I will praise Yahuwah. Therefore she called his name Yehuda. Then she ceased from bearing. So when we start looking at this, you should start looking at affliction. He said, surely you've seen my affliction, right? And after you see my affliction, surely I'll be loved. After you see all this affliction that's taking place, all these things that I'm bearing, all these children I'm bearing, right? Surely you're going to love me now, right? This is Bereshit 29. This is Aramaic Targum's version. It says, and it was manifest before Yahuwah that Leah was not loved by Yaakov. And he decided through his minra, or his voice, to give her children, or his word. But Rachel was barren, right? And Leah conceived and bore a son and called his name Reuben. And she said, because my humiliation was manifest before Yahuwah. Surely you see my affliction and humiliation. Surely now my husband will love me. Surely you will love him now. Surely he will love her now. And as my humiliation was manifest before Yahuwah, so shall the humiliation of my children be manifest before him when they be enslaved in the land of Mizraim. Right? Surely their humiliation be once they're enslaved in Mizraim. She conceived again and bore a son and said, because it was heard before Yahuwah that I was hated. I was humiliated, hated, have affliction. Right? He said she was hated. He gave me this also. And similarly, the voice of my children will be heard before him when they be enslaved in Mizraim. No, he said being enslaved in Mizraim twice. You know, she said that twice. And she called his name, what? Shemuan. And she conceived again and bore a son and said, this time my husband will be united with me, because I have borne him 3 sons. And similarly, the children will be united to serve Yahuwah. Therefore his name is called Louis. And she conceived again and bore a son and said, this time I will give thanks to Yahuwah, before Yahuwah, because from this my son there will come forth kings, Malachim, and from him will come forth David or Daud, the king Malach, who will give thanks before Yahuwah. Therefore she called his name Yehuda, and she ceased bearing. Right? So when we start looking at these aspects, right, because all these things have a meaning. Surely you're going to love him now. You see my affliction. You see I was hated. You see my humiliation. Surely you're going to love me now. You're going to cry out Mizraim. You're going to hear the cry. You're going to be joined together and be one. And you're going to praise. You give thanks to Yahuwah. Surely you'll do that now, after you see my affliction. So the word for hated is saneh in that verse. Saneh is to be hateful, to hating an enemy. Hated her. Right? He loved Leah and he hated Leah. He loved her less. To hate someone is to love someone less than you love someone else. Right? That means you hate them. Right? So you start looking at this. To be hateful, hating, enemy. So the word for Reuben, it means behold a son. It means behold a son. So keep that in mind. Reuben, behold a son. Right? So the word for conceive is hara. Is to conceive, become pregnant, bear, be with child. Like she's bearing this. Right? You're bearing a child, you're in a state of what? Grief, anguish, humiliation, affliction. You're in a state of what? Affliction, humiliation. It's painful. Right? Surely you'll love me after I go through all this pain and anguish and I bear all of this. Surely he'll love me now after I bear all this pain. Because it's not because I'm bearing these things. I'm only bearing these things because he hated me. That's the only reason she's bearing it. Because he hated me. So therefore, Yahuwah heard that I was hated. So therefore, I'm bearing all of these children and all this pain and anguish and humiliation and all these things. So the word for conceive, and I'm pregnant with a child, with all these children. I'm pregnant with these children. So the word for Simeon is Shimon. It means heard or hear. Shemuon, hear. Shamuon, it means heard, hear. So the word for Louis or Lavi, or it says Lavi here, but Louis, right? It means joined to. Joined to. Surely he gonna be united with me as one. Surely they're going to be united to me as one. After they see all this affliction, all these things I'm bearing, because Yaakov, he hated me. So therefore, I got to bear all these children. So him to love me again, I got to bear all this pain, this humiliation, this affliction. Surely they'll hear my cry. They'll hear the cry of Mizraim. Surely they'll hear the cry of Mizraim. Twice she said it. Surely they'll join me as one. So the word for Yehuda, it means praised. To praise, right? That's what it means. Praise. To praise. Surely he'll see all these and you know what? I'm going to praise Yahuwah. Surely, right? So all together now, you know how to say all together, right? So you add them up, you go through all the words. It says, son, hear and join in praise. Join in what? Son, hear and join in praise. Or cleave in praise. Surely, after you hear all of these afflictions and humiliation and me bearing all this because of somebody hate me, surely you will love me. Surely my husband will love me. Surely he will love me. He will love me then. So this is Psalm 34:1. I will bless Yahuwah at all times. His praise shall be continually in my mouth. My soul makes its boast in Yahuwah. Let the humble hear and be glad. Oh, magnify Yahuwah with me. Let us exalt his name together. Surely you will love me after I bear all these children, all this pain, humiliation, and affliction. Surely in Mizraim you'll hear their cry. Surely in Mizraim you'll hear their cry. Surely you will hear. After they're joined as one. Right? This is Yeshayahu 53:1. It says, who have believed what he has heard from us? And whom have the arm of Yahuwah been revealed? For he grew up before him like a young plant, and like a root out of the dry ground. He had no form of majesty that we should look at him. Amazingly, when a woman has a child, they go through transformation in their body. And you look at them and they don't even look like the same person. Their whole body swells. He says, surely he will love me after I bear all these children. Surely he'll be joined together in me as one. Surely he'll praise after that, after you see all this affliction, because the only reason I'm bearing these children is because he hated me. That's the only reason I'm bearing them. That's the only reason Yahuwah said, I heard it manifested that Yaakov hated you. Surely. It says, no beauty that we should desire him. He was despised and rejected by men. Right? And a man of sorrows, acquainted with grief. Isn't that what you are when you're bearing a child? When you're getting ready to give birth? It says, and as one from whom men hide their faces and will despise. Surely he has seen my humiliation and my affliction. Surely he will love me now. Surely they will love me now. They will have to love me now. They will have to. But he was pierced for our transgressions. He was crushed for our iniquities. Surely he'll see my humiliation and my affliction. And he will love me now. And upon him was the chastisement that brought shalom. What do you mean? For those who hated me. The only reason I'm bearing these things is you hate me. It says, with his wounds we are healed. Oh, his wound. And we, like sheep, have gone astray. And we have turned every one to his own way. And Yahuwah has laid on him the iniquity of us all. Why? It was manifested that Jacob hated Leah. And he opened her wound. He opened her wound. He opened her wound. Oh, he opened it. All because somebody hated. Oh, you mean you hide hatred and lying? Oh, you hide that hatred. So guess what happened? You would say it manifests. You know, I'm gonna open her wound. Surely he'll see my affliction and my humiliation, and he'll love me then. You'll love me. You'll love it, right? You'll love the word, right? You'll love the bar. You'll love it. This is Psalms 38 and 39. Yahuwah, all my longing is for you, before you. My sighing is not hidden from you. My heart throbs, my heart fails me in the light of my eyes. It also has gone from me. My friends and my companions stood aloof from my plague, and my nearest kin stand afar off. Surely they will love me after they see my affliction and my humiliation. Surely they'll love me. You will hear the cry in Mizraim. They will hear the cry in Mizraim. Surely. Those who seek my life lay snares for me. Those who seek my hurt speak of ruin. It says, and mediate treachery all the day long. They hate me. Those who hate me, surely it was manifested that, they hated him. They hated him. But he said, but I am like a deaf man. I do not hear. I'm like a mute man who does not open his mouth. I have become like a man who does not hear. Why does he become like a man who does not hear? Because they don't hear. Because we don't hear. So therefore, I have to be like one who hears, because I have to destroy the works of Satan. It says, and in whose mouth are no rebukes, but for you, Yahuwah, do I wait. It is you, Yahuwah, my Elohim, who will answer. For I said only, let them not rejoice over me, who boast against me when my foot slips, when I make a mistake. For I am ready to fall, and my pain is ever before me. Surely he will love me after they see my affliction and my pain and my anguish of bearing all these children, because he hated me, because they hated me. Surely he will love me after this. He gotta love me after this. I was hated, but now I'm gonna be loved, because I'm bearing all the iniquity and the hatred. Guess what he says? I confess my iniquity. I am sorry for my sin. My foes are my vigorous. They are mighty, and many are those who hate me wrongfully. Surely he'll love me after you see my affliction, my humiliation, and see me bear these children. My son, hear, join in praise. Surely he'll love me. They hate me wrongfully. Leah, Yirmiyahu says, those who render me evil for good accuse me because I follow after good. Surely he will. Surely, right? This is as 2 Ezra, Bith Azra 8 and 6. Yahuwah, if thou suffer not thy servant, that we may pray before thee, and thou give us seed unto our mind, our heart, and culture to our understanding. The fear of Yahuwah, those that trust in Yahuwah understand the truth, that there may come fruit of it. Those who were once brought low, speak, that you may bring forth a Kadush life and fruits to Yahuwah. How shall each man live that is corrupt, who beareth the place of a man? How? For thou art alone, and we are one workmanship, huh? Surely they'll become one. If he'll join me together with me as one, surely he see my affliction and my humiliation. And because they hated me, I had to bear all these children. It says, for thou art alone, and we are one workmanship of thine hands, like as thou hast said. For when the body is fashioned now in the mother's womb, how many children she had? 4. 4 kids. And thou givest it members, Thy creature is preserved in the fire and water. In 9 months does thy workmanship endure, thy creature which is created in her. How many kids she had? Oh, he said she ceased from bearing after having 4 kids. That's 9. It's the 9th month, isn't it? It's the 9th month. Yirmiyahu coming in the 9th month? He wrote it in the 9th month. He said, man, I'm going to take, y'all evil, y'all rob. I'm going to take away all your stuff. And your nice little winter house with your fireplace. I'm taking away all that stuff. And guess what? You burn it, I'm gonna write it again and tell you, they come to burn all your house down. Malak, Yahudi, all y'all who sitting in comfort. It's after 9 months. And guess what it says? But that which keepeth and is kept shall be both preserved. And when the time cometh, the wound preserved, deliver up the things that grew in it. Amazingly, after 9 months, she had a son. 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 At the 9th month, the word of Yahuwah came to Yirmiyahu. And all that sin that grew, it was time for it to be delivered over to another king and be destroyed. Surely they'll see my afflictions and my humiliation to bear all the sins of Yehuda, Yasharal, and the Goyim. Surely you see my afflictions to bear all these children because you hated me. Or they hated the word, the truth. That's why they threw it in the fire. They hated the word of Yahuwah. Oh, you mean it was manifested that Jacob hated Leah. And Yahuwah, by his word, said, Leah gonna have children. Surely if they see this, Leah like, man, I'm being hated. Surely if you see me. This is Matthew 27:11. Now Yahusha stood before the governor, and the governor asked him, are you the Malak of the Yahudim? She said, surely king's gonna come out of his loins. He mean Yehuda. That they're serving David, Dawood, and Targums. He said, are you the Malak of the Yahudim? Yahusha said, you have said so. He said, man, surely after they see this, and they'll praise Yahuwah. You'll praise him. But when he was accused by the chief priests and the elders, he gave no answer. He said, man, I was like a mute, like one who did not speak. Surely they see my humiliation. Surely they'll love me now. They'll love me now, just like you read in the book of Psalms. He said, I was like a mute. He said, my friends and everybody else, they despise me. He said, but to you, Yahuwah, I look through my help. You know what he says? But when the chief priest accused the chief priest and elders, he gave no answer. Then Pilate said to him, do you not hear how many things they testify against you? But he gave them no answer, not even a single charge, not to a single charge. So the governor was greatly amazed. He should be. Surely you'll love me now. I didn't even tell everybody, I didn't even say who I am. I didn't even say that I'm a king. I didn't even say any of these things. I didn't answer not a word. I was like a mute when I bore all your sin, your transgression. Amazingly, Yirmiyahu didn't get to say nothing to those people. He only wrote it down. His tongue was like a ready scribe, but he gave it to somebody else. He didn't even get a chance to even go tell him. He was like a mute. Amazingly, you start seeing the acts of Satan, and you start seeing this worship. This is Matthew 27:46. And about the 9th hour, Yahusha cried out. You mean after you're about to give birth to a child? Surely you see my humiliation, my affliction. Oh, surely they'll hear his cry in Mizraim. They'll hear the cry in Mizraim. That's what Leah said in Targums. She said it twice. He said about the 9th hour, Yahusha cried out with a loud voice, saying, Aliyah, Aliyah, lama sabachthani. That is, my Yah, why hast thou forsaken me? And some of the bystanders hearing it said, this man calleth for Aliyah. And one of them ran and took a sponge and filled it with wine and put it on a reed and gave it to him to drink. But the other said, wait, let us see whether Yahweh will come to save him. And Yahusha cried out again. Oh, you mean for the 2 times that Leah had a child after she had Simeon or Shamuan and Louis. He said, surely after they hear, they will cleave. They will be joined. After they hear, they will be joined. Twice she cried. She said that. At birth. At the ninth month, at the 9th hour, Yahusha cried out, just like a woman giving birth. Oh, you mean on the 9th month, when Yirmiyahu brought the scroll, and he read it before the king? Twice. In the 9th month. We're in the 9th month right now, amazingly. And it's Shabbat, the day of rest. When you add up Shabbat, the Shin, Ba'ith, and the 2 equals to 9, if you add it up. Amazingly. And it says, and one of them ran and took a sponge and put it and filled it with sour wine, and put it on a reed and gave it to him to drink. But the other said, wait, let us see whether Yahweh will come to save him. And Yahusha cried out again with a loud voice and yielded up the Ruach. Surely you see my affliction, my humiliation, and you see that you hated me. And Yahuwah said, by his word, you're going to have a child. Surely after they see this, man, my husband, Yaakov, he going to love me. Oh, you mean my bride is going to love me. My bride is going to love me because I was faithful in the womb, as Shalom said. Surely my bride going to love me now. Right. Yucatan 15:8 says, if the world hates you, you know that it hated me before it hated you. It was manifested that Yaakov hated Leah. It was manifested that the king and Yehudi and all the king hated the word that was given to Yirmiyahu. If the world hated you, it hated me. He said, if you were of the world will love you as its own. Amazingly, Rakal was the one who had the idols. She was the one who doing all the other stuff. But amazingly, Leah was the one that was hated. She ain't have no idols. But she the one hated. But the one who had the idols is the one that's loved. Surely, if he see my humiliation, my affliction, and see me bear all this sin, because he hated me, he would love me. If you were in the world will love you as its own. But because you are not of the world, but I chose you out of the world, therefore the world hates you. Remember the word that I have said to you, a servant is no greater than his master. If they persecuted me, Yirmiyahu, they will also persecute you. They're going to throw you behind in prison too, beat your behind up because you taking away his 9th month house with his fireplace because he ain't got evil deeds, and they're going to beat me up just like they beat you up. Some say that you're Yirmiyahu, of course, and they're gonna throw you in a prison too. Say if they kept my word, they will keep yours. They will also keep yours. But also these things they will do to you on the account of my name, because they do not know him who sent me. They that trust in Yahuwah understand the truth. They don't know. Remember, the whole envy and jealousy darkens the mind. It takes over the whole mind. If I had not come and spoken to them, remember, Yirmiyahu said I would ban, but he had Baruch write it down with Dale, and he wrote it down in a pen. And he said, if I had not spoken to them, just like Yahuwah speaking now, he said, speaking when he wrote, right? Even now, he says, they will not have been guilty of sin, but now they have no excuse for their sin. He like, you got to turn from your evil way today. Whosoever hates me hates my Father also. Oh, you mean if Yaakov, if you don't love Leah, or if you don't love his word, after he do all this for you, he said, man, you hate the word. You hate Yahuwah because he sent the word that you're going to have a child. Unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given. And the government going to be upon his shoulders. You mean a king going to come out of his loins? Yehuda. Are you the king of the Yahudim? Yes. No, he said, no, I'm not. He said, no. You said it, not me. Says, if I had not done among them the works that no one else did, who can do all this? I can't do it. Only Yahushua can do all this at one time. They would not be guilty of sin, but now they have seen and hated both me and my Father. Why do you think they burnt the scroll? Why do you think they burnt the scroll? They hated, they despised the word. They despised the Son. They burnt the word. They threw it in the fire. Guess what? You hate the Father too. You hate Yahuwah. It wasn't Yirmiyahu they hated. They hated Yahuwah. And they didn't understand the truth. They forsook Yahuwah. They despised wisdom and nurture, because their wisdom and nurture was telling them to go be afflicted by the king of Babylon. Because sometimes Yahuwah will have you go somewhere, and he'll take away your things just so you can suffer, but it's for your salvation though. But now they have seen and both hated me and my Father, but the word that is written in their law, their Torah, must be fulfilled. They hated me without a cause. What was your cause for hating me? Yaakov, Leah, he hated your. He's like, you matter of fact, Yaakov hated Leah. Like, what was your cause for hating the word? Zedekiah, Shebaniah, all the kings, rulers, and all the people sitting in the nice house in the ninth month, and with the fireplace, and you're hearing the word, and you throw it in the fire because you don't want nobody to take your stuff away because you evil and raw. What's the point of you hating me? Why are you wroth, O king, O Yehudi, and all y'all who burnt the scroll? If you do well, you do good, won't you be accepted? Won't you get to keep? Won't you get accepted, right? But nah, they didn't want that. So this is Exodus Shemuth 19:4. Yahuwah called to him out of the mountain, saying, "Thus you shall say to the house of Yaakov, and tell to the people of Yasharal, you yourselves have seen what I did to the Egyptians, and how I bore you on eagle's wings." I see a flying scroll. "And brought you to myself. Now therefore, if you will indeed obey my voice and keep my covenant, you shall be my treasured possession among all peoples, for all the earth is mine." Surely he'll hear their cry when they're in Mizraim. That's what Leah said in the Targums. He did. I see a flying scroll. What you see? I see him riding on the wings of the wind. You mean that scroll? The word, the bar did it. It says, "And you shall be my treasured possession of all peoples, for all the earth is mine." Of course. I own a cattle on 1,000 hills. He said, "Do I eat flesh?" He said, "If I were hungry, I wouldn't tell you." He said, "All the earth is mine, and you shall be to me a kingdom of priests, a Kadosh nation." He says, "These are the words that you shall speak to the people of Yasharal." He said, "I did that." What do you see, Zechariah? I see a flying scroll. I see a flying roll. Do you see a flying scroll? I see one. Whether it's for salvation or punishment, I see a flying scroll. Or, surely you will love me now. I bore all your sins. I bore all these children. I bore all this pain and humiliation. Surely you love me now. My bride, how you say? Yaakov. But it's written in the law, they hated me without a cause. This is Shemuth, Exodus 21. "And Yahuwah spake these words, saying, I am Yahuwah, your Elohim, who brought you out of the land of Mizraim, out of the house of slavery." It says, "You shall have no other Elohims before me." No other gods. Don't listen to a mischievous tongue. Don't listen to Satan. Don't burn the scroll. Don't listen to Satan. Don't hate Leah. Don't do that just because it ain't what you wanted. Don't do that. Don't start hating the word. Don't have no other gods before me. Right? "You shall not make to yourselves a carved image, or any likeness of anything that is in Shamayim above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. You shall not bow down to them, nor serve them. For I, Yahuwah, Elohim, am a jealous Elohim, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children. They that despise wisdom and nurture. Your wives foolish and your children curse and your offspring curse. I'm coming to get. People say, what do you mean? Visiting iniquity upon the children, the third and fourth generations, right? We talk about generational curses. He said, surely you'll love me now. You'll praise Yahuwah. My son, hear, join in praise. I bore your iniquity and your sins. Surely you'll exalt his name with me together. You'll exalt his name as one. He'll love me now, please. Right? Yahushua want to be loved too. People are like, why he want to be loved? Oh, you love one and hate the other? Or you despise the one and hate the other? And he says, Yahuwah said, Yahuwah Elohim, and be jealous Elohim, visiting iniquity of the fathers upon the children, third and fourth generation of those who hate me. Why do you think he visited iniquity upon the son? Surely they'll love me now. He buried the iniquity. All the iniquities he called. He hate Leah. All his hatred he put on Leah, or on Yahushua. And he bore all the sin, humiliation and affliction and all these things because of his hatred towards her. Or our hatred towards the word. And he put it all on the son. He visited iniquity upon the children. Oh, he visited iniquity upon the son. All the fathers. He said, I was like a mute. I was like one who don't speak. You don't hear all these things they say against you? Why? Because these are all their sins they were putting on him. Because he was without sin. So he without sin, they in there, all the chief priests and the elders and the scribes trying to tell him all the things he did, but that's all they sin. They telling him, they putting on him. This is all your stuff. So he was visiting iniquity upon the children, upon the son, Yahushua Mashiach. It says, visiting iniquity upon the children, the generations that hate me. They hated me without a cause. That's the same they did. He said, man, this manifested that your cold hate Leah. I'm going to open her wound. Amazingly, at the 9th hour, what happened after the 9th hour? Yahushua cried and gave the Ruach. But what happened after that? They pierced him in his side, and out came blood and water, just like a woman having a child. Guess what? And they saw that he was hated. He said he opened his wound, just like he did Leah. He opened his wound. It says, but showing steadfast love to thousands of those who love me and keep my commandments. And keep my commandments. He said, when you love Yahuwah, you'll keep the commandments that was in the gun. When you love Yahuwah, you'll keep the Shabbat. When you love Yahuwah, you'll honor your mother and your father. You won't steal. You won't kill. You won't be covetous. You won't have no other gods before him. You will not bear false witness. You won't be a liar or Kazab. You won't do these things. He said, if you love me, that's what you'll do. You'll keep all my commandments. You'll do all the things in the garden. You'll do all the things that he told him in the garden. Be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. You increase in wisdom and knowledge and understanding. You'll do these things. You'll eat every herb yielding seed. There's fruit for food. You'll do these things. You'll be kind to the animals and the creatures and the cat. You'll hold it in your bosom. You'll be kind to the people who cruel to the animals, right? You'll do these things. You'll be kind to the animals, the trees, and all the things in the garden. You'll be kind and tenderhearted. You'll be compassionate and merciful if you love Yahuwah. Love me and keep my commandments. Even if it calls you to go into affliction. Because you're receiving your punishment, like you're doing evil, and then he gives you a punishment, a judgment, to go into Babylon, to be punished. You'll do it, because you love him. Be like, I did wrong, I'm sorry. Whatever my punishment is, I have to take it. You'll do that because you love him. But everybody's not going to do that. They'll complain. They'll just talk about, oh, this person, that person, this nation, oh, this and that. The white man this, the black man this, the Asian people. They just complain. They just won't actually just take their punishment. Why? Because they don't love him. They despise wisdom and nurture. They are the seed of Satan. They'll lie on you just to keep that. Because they work together with him. Like, these are all aspects that we have to understand. Right? When it comes to our punishments, they call it karma. What you do, just know it's going to come back. Well, you reap what you sow. Right? That's for anything. Right? You have to look at that. You reap what you sow. Right? You want good? Sow good. You want evil? Hey, dig a ditch. You know how it says, shakir, dig and ditch with the lies. Keep doing it, and then eventually you'll fall into it, right? And these are all aspects. But surely we'll love him now. He did all this for us. All these lies. I know it's long. I know it's a lot, but understand, it's a lot for a reason. So this is the Nazarene Acts of the Apostles, Shalakim, chapter 21. It says, demons incite idolatry. There is another error of the demons, which they suggest to the senses of men, that they should think that those things that they suffer for such as are called Allahim, in order that thereby offering Zabaim and gifts as if to perpetuate them, that they may strengthen the worship of false religion and to avoid us who are interested in their salvation. Right, you start looking at these demons and spirits, right? When Yahuwah's word comes, these spirits and demons, they don't want you to get salvation. They want you to continue to worship them. They'll make you burn the scroll. They'll make you hate your wife, and Yahuwah put all the affliction on her. They'll do all these things. We start thinking about insatiableness in the belly, right? We start thinking about error and spirit of error and darkness of mind. All these things come from demons. Fornication, spirit of fornication, insatiableness in the belly, spirit of error and sleep. All these things come from demons and spirits. Arrogance, right? Injustice, right? All these lying, all these things come from spirits. We're trying to be free from these things. That's salvation. Freedom, liberty comes from the fear of Yahuwah. It says that they may be free from the error, but this they do as I have said, not knowing that these things are suggested to them by demons, for fear that they should be saved. It is therefore in the power of everyone, since man had been possessed with free will, whether he will hear us to life or the demons to destruction. You know, mischievous tongue is destruction. That's what it is. Right? Also, some of the demons appearing visibly under various figures sometimes throw out threats. Right? You don't hear what they all say to you? You don't hear what they say? All these things they accuse you of? You see this bread right here, EU? This gonna be you. He said they throw out threats, sometimes promise relief from the suffering that they may instill into those whom they deceive the opinion of their being Allahim, and that it may be known that they are demons and do these things to in the present world. How it is allowed them to transform themselves into what figure they please, and to suggest evil thoughts. Surely he know your thoughts and the sin that you hide. And now if Yahuwah know it, so you think the spirits don't know either? You're like, yeah, we don't know what you got in your mind. You under their jurisdiction. You think they don't know evil thoughts and lying and deceit and hatred? You think they don't know fornication and insatiableness in the belly? You think they don't know chicanery? Right? You think they don't know you trying to advance your political and financial purpose? You think they don't know your evil heart? And they know everything about you. They can read your mind in 3 minutes. And it says how it is allowed for them to transform themselves into what figure they please, and suggest evil thoughts, and to convey themselves by means of meats and drinks consecrated to them into the minds or bodies of those who partake of it, and to concoct vain dreams to further worship of some idol. That's what they do. Why you think they got all these food offerings and stuff, and food and drink? That's insatiableness in the belly. You better learn how to say no. Get control of your appetite. He said, why they be messing with it, playing with the food and playing with all the things that you eat today? These demons and spirits, putting things in the water and all these things, putting things in food and things that make you come back. Why? Because they're trying to use you to worship them. Oh yes, oh food, oh, try to make you make an urn to them, right? Make a song about their food. Oh, that stuff real now. You think they don't? These demons and spirits do that? I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to tell you, right? Why? Because they want to control you. They want to control your appetite. They don't want you to control your seats of appetites. They don't want to control your emotions and your courage. They don't want you to control your mind. They want every imagination and thought evil continually. so they continue to be in control. This is real stuff, right? I know people don't want, but he said, Acts of the Nazarenes Apostle, chapter 17. The Basura of the good news gives power over demons, right? You see then how important it is to acknowledge Yahuwah, the acknowledgement of Yahuwah. They that trust in Yahuwah understand the truth. The fear of Yahuwah is the beginning of Kukma, wisdom. Don't be like Yareh. Be like his name, Yareh, fear of Yah, but yet he go tell lies. Don't do that. Notice that was all about the things that they had in material possession. But you see what it make you do. You start messing with people's money, you start messing with their house and their stuff. Well, they come beat your behind up for no reason at all. What's your reason for hating me? Right? It says, you see how it is important to acknowledge Yahuwah in the observance of divine obedience. But being that they weren't obeying, doing the things they were supposed to, loving your neighbors as yourself, not unjust gain, lying, cheating, stealing, doing all these things they were doing. He said, what do you see a flying roll? He said, man, it's the curse. What do you mean, Chmy'shy? You mean, this is the curse that go, he was a curse for us. He said, this is the curse that goes before those who steal and do what? Trade with unbalanced measures. It says, why not only protect those who believe from assaults of demons? That's what it does, divine obedience. But also gives them command over those who rule over others. And therefore it is necessary for you who are of the Goim, the nations. Remember, he said, write this on the scroll, Amiglah, for Yasharal, Yehuda, and the Goim. He says, to betake yourselves to Yahuwah and keep yourselves from all uncleanness, that the demons may be expelled and Yahuwah may dwell in you. Because that's the whole point. And at the same time, by prayers, commit yourselves to Yahuwah and call for his aid against impudent demons for whatever things you ask. Surely, like what did Leah say? Surely he'll hear their cry in Mizraim. He said, I brought you on equal swings. But amazingly, they want to go right back to the demons. They want to go right back. And it says what? It says, commit your prayers yourselves to Yahuwah and call for his aid against the impudent demons for whatever things you ask, believe. Well, for whatever things you ask, where am I? Things you ask, believing, you will receive. But even the demons themselves, in proportion as they see Amunah, faith, grow in man or woman, in that proportion they depart from him. He said, faith, Amunah, come by hearing by the word of Mashiach. The testimony of Yahuwah is the Ruach of Naba, the Ruach of prophecy, the testimony of Yahushua, right? He said, depart from him, residing only in the part in which something of infidelity still remains. That's the only way they leave one part of your body and they go to another part. Like, man, my neck, my shoulder, my lower back. People like, where they at? And people wonder, like, with perfect health. He said that's a gift that comes from learning. The more you learn, the more you understand how these demons work. Right? You understand what's going on. People say residing only in the part that which infidelity remains. But from those, because why, you got another God there. If you're like, what do you mean infidelity? You would say, you have no other God. I'm a jealous God, jealous Elohim. So you must got another God. Residing only in a part which something infidelity, but from those who believe with full amunah, they depart without any delay. For when a ruach has come to amunah, a faith of Yahuwah, it obtains the virtue of the heavenly water, by which it extinguishes the demon like a spark of fire. Right? So when we start looking at these aspects, we start looking at these spirits and these demons and these spirits that try to attack. But you can avoid them. You can destroy them by fear of Yahuwah, by acknowledging him. Because you don't want to not acknowledge him. You read in Romans chapter 1, you ain't going to read it. You read with those who acknowledge his name, you see what they did. He said, all those who do these things, and not only do these things, but have pleasure in those who do them. Like, you see when you don't acknowledge his name, you're doing all type of stuff. So this is a testament of Zabulon, going to the end. Right? You also, my children, have compassion toward every person, and mercy, in order that Yahuwah may be compassionate and merciful to you. In the last days, Yahuwah will send his compassion on the earth. And whenever he finds compassion and mercy, in that person he will dwell. Right? He just told him to abstain from all these things. He said, Yahuwah will dwell in you. If that same Ruach that was in Yahusha be in you. To the extent that a man has compassion on his neighbor, to that extent Yahuwah has mercy on him. For when he saw me, he was moved with compassion. Whomever you see, do not harbor resentment, my children. Hold yourself like a child. Love on one another, and do not calculate the wrong done by each to his brother and sister. This shatters unity. Surely they'll be united and be joined together. Surely your code be joined together with me as one. After he see my affliction and my humiliation, surely they'll be joined to Yahushua Mashiach as one. Your code. After you see my affliction, after you see my humiliation, after you cry out in Mizraim, surely you'll see me riding on the wings of the wind. Surely you'll see me bore you on eagle's wings. Oh, I see a flying scroll. Ruach Marakaf. And the Ruach moved upon the face of the waters. I see a flying scroll. Surely you'll believe. Do you believe? And he says, do you believe it? Do you know? And once you know, so for when he saw me, he was moved with compassion. Whomever you see, do not harbor resentment, my children. Love one another, and do not calculate the wrong done to each other, to his brother and sister. This shatters unity, and scatters all kinship, and scatters the family, and stirs up the soul. What is it going to stir up too? That's what the spirit of hatred and lying do, and the spirit of deceit and arrogance. But guess what? That's what Yahusha did. He was recalling all the evil done. He said, you hate me. He said, you seek to kill me. A man who told you the truth, that all your works are evil. He said, the world hated me because I say all their deeds are evil. So therefore, he was stirring up the soul. He said, man, I'm a master of strife before I'm a master of peace. Because I had to stir up the murky waters inside of you. All the demons inside, all that murky water. He said, I got to do that. He says, and stir up the soul. He said, he who recalls evil receives neither compassion nor mercy. That's why they didn't have no compassion and mercy on Yirmiyahu. That's why they had no compassion and mercy on Yahushua Mashiach. He's like, man, you trying to tell that we evil. You telling me that we finna get everything that, man, this my house, my fireplace, my nice stuff. You telling me I'm finna get all this stuff taken? I'm gonna beat your behind up. Yeah, you hate me without a cause. What kind of hatred is that? Right, so Colossians 3 and 5. It says, put to death, therefore, what is earthly in you, sexual immorality, impurity, passions, desires, and covetousness, which is idolatry. All these are idols. On account of these, the wrath of Yahuwah is coming. This is present day 2022 AD. In these you too once walked, when you were living in them, but now you must put them all away. Anger, hatred, and lying, right? You get angry, it'll cause you to understand the truth, make you have your own misconceptions, your own thoughts, right? Wrath, malice, that's the desire to do evil. Slander, obscene talk from your mouth. Do not lie one to another. Why? Because then you'll be like Shakar, you'll be a mischievous tongue. You'll be your father Satan. You'll be working together with him. You'll be like Yareh. Man, you going to the Chaldean, man, you a liar. And he ain't listening to him. He ain't listening to Yirmiyahu, that reproof. He said, do not lie one to another, seeing that you have put off the old self with its practices and put on the new self. Yareh, you mean fear of Yah, who told a lie on Yirmiyahu? Or one that has all these Abri names, but then he said, I told a lie. So therefore, put to death was the old self, which is being renewed in the knowledge after the image of your Creator, renewing your mind every day. This is a constant thing. Why? Because if you don't, you'll find yourself back in the old state. So here there is no Greek, Yehudi, circumcised or uncircumcised, barbarian, Scythian, free, but Mashiach is all in all. Right? This is all back to the beginning. Right? There was none of these things, these behaviors, right? Put on then as Yahuwah's chosen ones, Kadush and compassionate hearts. Why? He said, he who finds compassion, Yahuwah going to dwell inside in the last days. He said he's going to send his compassion on the earth. Kindness. He said humility destroys envy. Meekness. Patience, bearing with one another, and if one has a complaint against another, forgiving each other, as Yahuwah has forgiven you, so you also must forgive. And above all these, put on love. You seek out wisdom with love. You got to seek with love. Put on love, which binds everything together in perfect harmony, like an instrument on a guitar tuned to a perfect frequency. And let the shalom, oh, you mean those who plan peace? The righteous plan peace? And let the shalom of Mashiach rule in your hearts, to which indeed you are called into one body. And be thankful. How many people are thankful? Let the word of Mashiach dwell in you richly. Like that, let that be your value. Teaching and admonishing one another in all wisdom. Singing psalms and hymns and spiritual songs. That is what we were talking about. It's talking about singing and rejoicing. Open your mouth, who once barked low. With thankfulness in your mind, your hearts, to Yahuwah. And whatsoever you do in word or deed, do everything in the name of the Adon Yahusha, giving thanks to Yahuwah, the Ab, through him. So ODE 7, Shaluma 7, 18 through 28. And the Most High shall be known in his Kodashim to announce those that have songs to the coming of Yahuwah, that they may go forth to meet him, and may sing to him with joy, and with the harp and many tones. The seers shall come before him, and they shall be seen before him, and they shall praise Yahuwah for his love, because he is near, and he holdeth. And hatred shall be taken away from the earth. You mean hatred for his word? Hatred for Yahuwah? All that hatred and lying? It's going to be taken from the earth. It's going to be taken from the earth. And along with jealousy, it shall be drowned. How? Through humility. Humility destroys envy and jealousy. For ignorance hath been destroyed. That's the whole point. Ignorance has been destroyed. Which means if you're no longer ignorant, that means you have intellect, knowledge. Because the knowledge of Yahuwah has arrived. It's here. They who make songs shall sing of the Khan of grace of Yahuwah the Most High. And they shall bring their songs, and their heart shall be like the day. You mean like the daytime, like the day dawning. And like the excellent beauty of Yahuwah, their pleasant song. And there shall be neither anything that breathes without knowledge, nor anything that is dumb or mute. Why do you think he was mute? Why do you think he didn't answer a word? He did that for you, so you won't be dumb and mute. He did all these things for us, so we will open our mouth and speak and bring songs and praise. My son, that's what he said, son, hear, join, and sing and praise. That's what Leah, surely they'll do this after they see all my affliction and my humiliation. When I cry, even they would cry out Mizraim twice. Surely you're the one who hated me. You're cold, but yeah, surely you'll love me now. Surely my bride will love me now. It says, for he has given a mouth to his creation, to open the voice of the mouth toward him, to praise him. Confess ye his power, and show forth his grace, his calm. Hallelujah. So we made it. We made it to the end. We made it to the end. He that endure to the end shall have freedom, shall be saved, right? So the name of Yahuwah is a strong tower. The righteous run into it and are safe. So we made it to the end. It's a good 2-mile run. So as we move forward in this life and this and this understanding, to know that the freedom to extinguish the demons and the spirits in our minds and our thoughts and our bodies comes through the fear of Yahuwah, comes through the intellect and knowledge, comes through the understanding, comes through knowing that He rules and reigns supreme. And that through love and compassion and mercy and kindness, ahab, joy, peace, patience, meekness, temperance, amunah, through forgiveness, all the works of Satan are destroyed in one's mind, in one's life. Even receiving the punishment of one's own sin and taking that punishment, whatever it may be, that one may understand and then from there move forward into a higher state of being. To know that even to be afflicted can be your salvation when you know that this punishment is of Yahuwah. Knowing that these things are true and we should walk in our punishments without any complaining or resentment or bitterness or strife or complaining or criticism or pride or any type of evil thing, but in humility and in love and compassion toward your fellow man, regardless. So as the children of Or, the children of light, we seek those things which are above, but also we don't forget about the people on the earth and our fellow man and our neighbor. For we must love our neighbor as we love ourselves. So this Yom, as we come to a close, we move forward in compassion, in love, and humility, in meekness, in temperance, amunah, in self-control. We move in love. For the meek shall inherit the earth. The meek shall inherit the earth.